His governor is among those expressing gratitude to Texas rescue crews.
These people are family to us.
Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin tells reporters his family and some friends were among those saved by swiftwater rescue crews and the Texas National Guard during flooding in Texas last week.
What happened in the wee hours of the morning on Friday has been devastating. The loss of life is just shocking.
His wife, Virginia First Lady Suzanne Youngkin's family, has Texas connections and was stranded while vacationing at the family's property on the Guadalupe River. Audio courtesy WWBT. I'm Jennifer King.
Russia continues its aerial bombardments of Ukraine. Russia has recently tried to overwhelm the country and their air defenses by launching a massive number of strikes.
Ukraine's Air Force says Russia fired a record 728 Shahed and decoy drones at Ukraine overnight, as well as 13 missiles. The latest escalation amid mounting Russian aerial attacks in the more than 3-year war.
That is Charles A. Ledesma. President Trump says no progress was made on the Russia-Ukraine war during a phone call in which he tried to work things out with Russian President Vladimir Putin. Here's White House correspondent Greg Clugston.
After complaining last week that the Biden administration spent too much on defending Ukraine, President Trump said the U.S. will send them more weapons. He said he's not happy with Vladimir Putin and the Russians.
So we're sending some defensive weapons to Ukraine, and I've approved that.
His decision is a dramatic reversal from earlier promises to quickly end the Russia-Ukraine war. Greg Clugston, Washington.
You'll find more on these stories at townhall.com.
Are you over the age of 55 and want to secure your wealth with physical gold and silver? We are Advantage Gold, the #1 customer-rated gold company in America. We have been helping investors take their 401ks and retirement accounts and diversify them into physical precious metals like gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. Call us right now, 800-900-8000. Just call 800-900-8000 and claim your free gold investing starter kit. Also learn how you might qualify for up to $10,000 in free gold and silver. Past performance is not indicative of future results. Please consult your tax or financial advisor. Call us at 800-900-8000.
Now there's a new way to take charge of your blood sugar. Introducing new Garlic Healthy Blood Sugar Formula from the makers of the nation's best-selling garlic supplement. New Garlic helps maintain healthy blood sugar levels with clinically supported levels of garlic, plus a custom blend of vitamins and minerals, and it's odor-free. Take charge of your blood sugar with new Garlic Healthy Blood Sugar Formula. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Use as directed.
An appeals court has thrown out a rule that was supposed to have made it easier to cancel things like streaming subscriptions.
The Federal Trade Commission's so-called click-to-cancel rule was announced in 2024 with the goal of making it just as easy to cancel something as it was to enroll. It was set to take effect in a few days, but the court Tuesday said the federal agency had not done a proper regulatory analysis of the rule. That's required when the impact on the economy is more than $100 million.
That is Tasha Stevens reporting. For the first time in almost 20 years, travelers may no longer have to take off their shoes when they're checking in at the airport. The Transportation Security Administration is looking to abandon that requirement, according to several media reports. If implemented, the change would put an end to a security screening mandate that was first put in place almost 20 years ago. Breaking news and analysis at townhall.com. One more reason to raise a few eyebrows about the possibilities of AI. Correspondent Haya Panjabi reports on an impersonator posing as a U.S. official.
AI was used to impersonate Secretary of State Marco Rubio to contact foreign and U.S. officials. The State Department is warning U.S. diplomats of attempts to impersonate Rubio and possibly other officials using artificial intelligence. The department discovered that an imposter posing as Rubio attempted to reach out to at least 3 foreign ministers, a U.S. senator, and a governor. It's the latest instance of a high-level Trump administration figure targeted by an impersonator. Haya Panjwani, Washington.
President Trump again has said that Jerome Powell should resign immediately, repeating a call he made for the Fed chairman to step down last week. He noted that it's, quote, okay with me if Congress investigates the Federal Reserve chairman as well. You'll find more of these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man on this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The demolition, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning, one and all. Welcome to Mornings with Mike Winters. I am he. That would be me, Mike Winters. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Of course, after yesterday's events in Ruidoso, it's a pretty crazy morning here, as you can imagine. Ruidoso getting hit once again with a major flood, and
they said
all reports saying this one's the worst one yet.
The Rio Ruidoso rose, I believe they said 15 feet in 30 minutes.
Yeah, I saw a report yesterday, like 3 or 4 in the afternoon, and the news was saying they got like 3 inches of rain in 1 hour at one point.
Yeah,
and, it's loss of life. We already know that. There's been reports of that and everything else.
I literally, minutes before we came on air, learned about the loss of those 2 kids.
Yeah, 2 children I saw are missing. That's just the ones we know.
No, they were confirmed.
No, I mean, I'm saying that's the ones we know.
Right.
Lord knows how many more of these have gone. Like the Downs, I've heard, is pretty much washed away.
Yeah. And here's the thing. After last year's storms, they moved all of the horses, all of the equipment essentially up to Albuquerque for the season, and they had just brought them back down.
Man, it's I'm gonna. It's already starting, I'm sure, but if y'all remember, we're probably going to be, if we're not already, catching evacuees and things like that. So I'm gonna say here in Roswell, it's rally the troops. Again, donations. Support local organizations and churches that are going to be housing and hosting and helping evacuees and various folks in Ruidoso. I know, like Jocelyn with Food Not Bombs, that they anticipate there's going to be an influx of folks coming in. They're gathering their resources as well.
Sure.
I know these organizations are all doing that. So please reach out to your churches, your organizations, see what you can do to help. Because I'm guessing at some point we're going to be housing folks that are displaced and everything else, and trying to get them back up on their feet. And I'm sure it's already started to an extent, but that's what we do, and it's time to rally the troops. I know nothing against the Texas flooding right now, but I kind of feel like our efforts need to come here to our neighbors to the east of us. So this is nuts what's going on. So I know. Praying and keeping. Matter of fact, you know what? Today is Wednesday.
Hold on.
At 9:00 every Wednesday, at the Historical Society, they do the praying at the pole at 9:00. This might be a great day to make a point to go on out to the pole and do some praying, and start there and then roll up our sleeves and see what we can do to help. Donations, reach out. Like I said, churches. I haven't. As soon as I get information, I'll definitely pass along. Like I said, I know we're kind of in the early stage of this. This all just went down, yesterday, late afternoon. So we're just getting the reports overnight and seeing what we're seeing. But every single video fitted and pictures and things I've been seeing, none of it is good. It's just. I mean, you're seeing houses float away. You're seeing. I mean, you all seen them. Just like I have, and this is something that I'm going to take a guess that it's going to be like last time. We're going to get an influx of people, and we just need to do what we can do to help get these people taken care of as best we can. And and do what we do to get people back on their feet. So as I get more information about resources and places to donate or places needing donations, any of that kind of stuff, we will definitely pass it along. But as of right now, I can definitely tell you, definitely talk to our organizations, Food Not Bombs, Salvation Army.
211's a good number to reach out to.
211's a great place to call and say, hey, who's...
whether you can make a donation or if you need resources.
I imagine many of our local churches will be, if not already, starting to organize things to get help to people as needed and things like that. So as you hear about them, get involved, spread the word, and like I said, as we hear them, we'll get word out to folks too. But yeah, it's just crazy what you're seeing with the footage and everything we're seeing from Ruidoso yesterday.
Watching a house like flow down a river that's insane. I mean, that's something you never think you're going to see in your entire lifetime. Like it's one of those things that and they say it's a once in 1,000 years, and it's becoming a lot more common. But if you have resources, please reach out, and 211 is a great place to know where to make those donations.
Start, yeah.
Redcross.org is probably going to be another good place to reach out to.
Yep, and but I know, and it's crazy because everyone's trying to rally to do Texas flood events and things, and it's like, well,
yeah,
might need some of that stuff for our neighbors to the east, right?
There's one thing that, and I saw this, a few times with the Texas storms. When pictures and video get released, they tend to have an effect, and they tend to get spread around. Some of those, and I know it seems weird to point it out right now, but some of those are AI. And there's one picture floating around.
A few of them, yeah.
Of Ruidoso. So it's an overhead shot of basically just water crashing into houses.
I've seen it, yeah.
And I don't 100% know because they're getting really good, but I'm pretty sure that is an AI photo.
Yeah, the one I saw, I would almost guarantee it was an AI photo. But there's enough real footage out there that you don't need to worry about the AI.
And
it's just bad. Ruidoso is, I said east, I meant west earlier, but yeah, they could use our help and whatever we can do. It's just, it's one of these things you're hopeless. You feel helpless because you're sitting there watching. And it's like, oh man, you hear about the kids, and it's like, why are we having to deal? But there ain't a dang thing you can do about it other than try to help pick up the pieces.
Right.
Sometimes and it's just dang.
There's only so many, so much thoughts and prayers to go around. They only do so much. But I can promise you that the picture that's floating around that a few of my friends have shared. Blake Shelton and Luke Bryan are not on a rubber raft in Kerr, Texas right now. Okay, they're not. They're not there. Maybe they're there,
right.
But that picture is AI.
Yes, yeah, that's a safe to assume. But and I imagine if you see any celebrities going down the Ruidoso floating, those two were probably AI. But as we get information, that's all I can tell you at this point. As we get more information, we will share it. But as I'm organizations around here, we're gearing up, getting ready to whatever aid, assistance, receiving of evacuees, whatever our role becomes. Again, that's what we'll do. So, folks, be on the lookout. If you got, I'm saying is go through if you've got clothing, stuff that people need to live. If you got extra of it, maybe set it aside. There's going to be people calling for that stuff here pretty quick, if not already. So.
Right.
And like I said, as we get more information, we will definitely share that. So I wish I could tell you more at this point, but that's what we know.
Again, that's what we have.
Yeah, so
what we have are words, and that's what
all we know is it don't look good and it's really bad. And again, the reports that are coming out are sporadic here and there. So it's nuts.
I'm just hoping this isn't an actual rerun of things that occurred last year, because boy howdy.
Well, I imagine this is going to be FEMA level events and all that again. So, well, last time we kind of rallied, we did our thing, and then the Red Cross came in and kind of changed it up and all that. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. We got to do what we're going to do, and that's what we're going to do, and we'll figure this out.
Yep.
So.
How do you trend? It's one of those, how do you segue out of that?
Yeah, where's the good news bear after this? I don't know.
Anyway.
Well, hey, not that anybody cares, but the Commanders are going to unveil a third uniform later today. So something I'm looking forward to online.
They really, you know what? The Commanders have the opportunity to do the funniest thing ever, and that's just all season do throwback uniforms and just go out as the Redskins.
Right. Well, that's the rumor. is that they're going to be homage to their prior days, is what I've been told. But who knows? Like from what I'm told, the logo will never. I mean, the name will never come back. You'll see the logo maybe in various things, but not the name. So, but anyway, in case you don't care about flooding, there's that going on. But oh, and I finally watched the rest of the first season of Mobland on Amazon. No, I say Paramount. It's a Paramount one. And yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
I know they've already greenlit for a second season. I'd be curious to see where season 2 goes. It's kind of not without saying anything, but basically they'd kind of leave you with the new guard taking over the old guard, but the old guard's not ready. So but their big enemy got, in essence, eliminated in this one. So let's see what the next thing.
I'm smelling a civil war, season 2.
But it's
Mob
pretty good.
Communities coming together to battle it out.
But again, Helen Mirren's character, this is by far the most diabolical Helen Mirren character ever.
Nice. Programming tonight will determine whether or not I continue my Paramount Plus subscription, because tonight the new season of South Park debuts. Depending upon how they do or how that episode is, I may keep it.
Have you ever been disappointed by South Park?
Yes.
Okay.
The whole run after it was like season 21 when they introduced PC Principal and Strong Woman and all that. And those seasons were kind of weak, and okay, here's a great example. South Park did an entire episode under the assumption that Hillary Clinton was going to win the election.
No.
And when Donald Trump won the election, they had to redo the entire episode in one day. Now, in fairness, they did an okay job with what they had, but the whole back half of that season was garbage.
Put your eggs in one basket there. Maybe they should have done 2 rooms. Just saying.
They had a whole thing about Bill Clinton being the first gentleman. It was going to be Bill Clinton and Bill Cosby doing a whole I'm Bill and I'm Bill thing.
Oh, what could have been.
I know. You just... I think that is where the universe took a turn into this timeline that we're in now.
Yeah.
It was all South Park.
It's all their fault. Never mind. I was going to say about nope, just another rabbit hole. Let me give you the rundown for today's show. We are going to replay an interview this hour. Dr. Powell with Eastern New Mexico University Roswell joined us yesterday to talk about fall registration and things going on this summer, so we're going to play that for you here in just a bit. 8 o'clock hour, Brian Luck, superintendent for the Roswell Independent School District, scheduled to join us for a visit, give us an update on last school board meeting and things happening in the RSD as the summer break continues. And then we're going to replay an interview with John Thosen from the New Mexico Shooting Sports Association. He joined us earlier in the week talking about an event they've got coming up next week at the Liberty. So we're going to play that interview for you here in the 9 o'clock hour. Again, as we get updates from the Ruidoso floods, any resources, things that information we get, we will share that as soon as humanly possible. But like I said earlier, if you want to help, start reaching out to your churches, reach out to organizations like Food Not Bombs, 211. If you're looking to help with resources, they probably have a few ideas for you as well. Because I imagine our workload will increase here as we get evacuees and other things coming in from these floods in Ruidoso. So got to be there to help. All right, 7:18. Speaking of weather, let's take a look at your weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Sunny and pretty hot today, mid to upper 90s. We do have a slim chance of an afternoon thunderstorm around Roswell, but it should be dry everywhere else. For the overnight hours, maybe a few clouds, our lows in the low 70s. The heat gets cranked up a little bit on Thursday. Sunshine and afternoon highs will be in the low 100s. Maybe a shower on Thursday night, sunny and around 100 on Friday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently, 69 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 70%. Mine says the wind's blowing. But I don't look, I mean, the trees are moving a little bit, but according to this, I've got southeast winds 15 gusting to 25. I don't think that's quite accurate. I think the wind gauge is on the fritz out at the airport. Anyway, today they're talking sunny and hot for us, 97 for a high, southeast winds at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Clear tonight, looking at an overnight low of 71 degrees. South winds at around 10 miles per hour. Thursday, we're expected to hit 100 under sunny and hot conditions. South winds 5 to 15. They're saying there's a 20% chance of rain Thursday night, partly cloudy, overnight low of 72. Friday, sunny. Now they're dropping the temps. They're talking 104. Now they're saying 98. And then Friday night, Saturday, we're looking at rain chances. A decent chance Saturday, a 20% Friday night. They're saying a 40% chance of rain Saturday afternoon with a high of 91. 30% Saturday night. A 30% chance of rain with a high of 89 on Sunday. So they're backing off. They were talking 104 earlier in the week. And am I still looking at Roswell? Yeah, this is Roswell's weather, because it's a little different now. They went from 104 to 98 with rain chances Friday night. So, and then we're looking at rain chances, 20% for the weekend and into the early part of next week, with highs in the low 90s. So, we'll see. All right, 7:21. We're going to take a 3-minute break, and then we're going to play our interview with Dr. Powell from Eastern New Mexico University, Roswell. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
Injury, surgery, or illness can set you back, but you don't have to recover alone. At Artesia General Hospital, our rehabilitation services team provides physical, occupational, and speech therapy to help you regain strength, mobility, and confidence. Take the next step toward recovery. Call 575-736-8174 today to schedule an appointment and get back to living life to the fullest.
For the first time ever, the National Championship Air Races are touching down in Roswell, New Mexico. From September 10th through the 14th, witness the world's best pilots battle it out in the fastest motorsport on the planet. Vintage warbirds, cutting-edge jets, aerobatics, and family fun, all against the stunning New Mexico sky. 3, 2, 1. Get your tickets now at airrace.org. Don't miss this high-octane spectacle.
If you want to experience the best Beatles tribute ever, grab some tickets and twist and shout with the Fab Four, the ultimate tribute, on July 12th at the Spencer Theater. This loving tribute to the Beatles has amazed audiences in countries around the world. Get your tickets today at spencertheater.com or by calling the box office at 575-336-4800. We'll see you at the Spencer.
Picture this. You're behind the wheel of a John Deere compact tractor. You're effortlessly breaking ground, moving piles of rocks just by moving a lever, and enjoying the sun as you clear brush across your pasture. We could keep trying to put you in the moment, but to really understand what this feels like, you just have to get in the seat.
Stop by Pecos Valley Equipment in Artesia and Roswell, or visit us online at pecosvalleyequipment.com.
Saddle up for a celebration of the bounty of Lee County during the 89th Annual Lee County Fair and PRCA Rodeo, August 1st through the 9th at the Lee County Fairgrounds in Lovington. With nonstop fun for the whole family, including an arts and crafts showcase, the carnival, concerts, Extreme Bulls event, and PRCA rodeos, the Pioneer Iron Chef contest, as well as the livestock shows, mutton bustin', fiddlers contest, and junior livestock sale, the Yucca building exhibits, plus 4-H and open youth, the flower show, farm and garden, creative arts, the special rodeo, commercial vendors, and of course, the best fair food around. The concert series begins Friday, August 1st with the Hispanic Heritage Celebration and continues nightly Tuesday, August 5th through Saturday, August 9th. Visit LeeCountyFair.net for more exciting news and updates. The 89th Annual Lee County Fair and PRCA Rodeo, August 1st through the 9th at the Lee County Fairgrounds in Lovington. Come celebrate the bounty of Lee County. We'll see you at the fair.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Due to extreme pressure and weather conditions, it literally rains diamonds on Neptune and Uranus. Stop snickering because I said Uranus. Here's Mike Winters.
Eastern New Mexico University here in Roswell. Of course, President Dr. Sean Powell back with us. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Mike.
How's the summer going for everyone out at the campus?
It is going really fast. I think
speed. Yeah, we're already.
It was June 1st yesterday. So
yeah, summer semester probably over here in a few weeks, and then we're getting ready. Then fall will be right hot on its heels here. So
we have another couple of weeks of summer school, and then classes for us will start on the 18th of August.
So we're about a month and week out here, a week or two out. So
yes,
which means if you have not registered for fall and signed up for fall semester, now is the time. This is we're not in the 2-minute warning yet. That's come in a couple weeks, but this is the busy time. If you're particularly if you've got classes that maybe have or your time schedule is limited, you need to, the earlier you do it, the better you can kind of finagle your schedule and things for in-person classes and things like that. Of course, a lot of these offer online, and those offer more flexible schedules and things. But yeah, if you've got a stringent schedule you got to work on, the sooner you get your registered, the better off you're going to be.
Yes, and that registration is ongoing, and we have a pretty strong registration going into the fall right now. I think we were up about 14% Monday over what the comparison was to year-to-date last summer. So
great.
More students are enrolling earlier, and we're hoping that trend holds, and we're able to meet the needs of all the students coming in.
Absolutely, and that's great. I imagine, too, because, I know, like, with my wife being a teacher, and, you kind of – I imagine you use probably the local area high schools as their graduating numbers as kind of a comparison on what kind of numbers you're going to receive in a fall semester typically, right? Like if all right, Dexter or Roswell High, they had a big high school class, that it does impact your numbers sometimes, doesn't it?
Well, 98% of our students come from Chavez County and
Sure.
Artesia. So when we look at that district area for our campus, the vast majority of them are going to come locally.
Sure.
However, as we've talked about before, that age range goes from 14 to 77.
I would say not everybody is 18 coming here too.
Right.
It's just you just have a bigger influx at that particular time here too. But then also too is because of the nature of some of the curriculum you offer, like your nursing program or your aviation maintenance, you have people from all over the state that come to ENMU to get their degree or getting their program completion because A, what you offer isn't available everywhere, and B, what you offer is some of the best in the state. I mean, just another comparison, the special needs, there's a whole program that comes through, and there's folks from outside of the state that participate in that. It's really, it is a much bigger campus footprint than people realize.
Well, and our special services program is on a suspension right now. We're not offering that due to low enrollment numbers. We're looking to hire a new director to get that going again. However, the other tech ed and career ed programs, health sciences, you're right, where there's individuals from all over the state. We had 23 counties represented, I think, in 2024 that had enrolled individuals from those different counties. But again, the majority of folks come right here from Chavez County, which is great.
And that's really, this is the beauty of ENMUR is it is that synergy. It relies on the community to sign up, register, to be involved, but at the same time, the campus, your focus is to serve the needs of the area. What the curriculum you offer, the programs, the staff, what you teach, all is really based on what's the needs of the community here. That's what that it's based on, and a little logistics too. I mean, it just so happens the campus sits on an airport, so it's pretty natural that we incorporate some aviation side of things on here. Right. But most of this is the supply and demand here locally. So that's why you see the schedule you see usually.
And we work with the local community partners to develop those educational programs. The most recent one that I can cite is our agricultural mechanical technology certificate. And that came about because of the advisory board. So individuals from the dairies, Leprino, some of the other ranches and farms that were in the area, and they were looking for someone who had some knowledge of agriculture, but also had the ability to do welding, work on small engines.
Sure.
And so that's why our tech ed department put those programs together and made this certificate available. And then that goes right into one of the associate degrees in agriculture for us, which can go on to a 4-year degree if they want to go that far.
Sounds like the code for that degree plan is jack of all trades. You know what I mean? Like, that we need someone to be trained in, like, that works at the ranch that can kind of fix anything, but is kind of not specialized in anything, but does, you know what I mean? It's like, now, the 1 minute they're turning wrenches on a tractor, the next minute they're, servicing the how they get the water to everything or something, you know?
Yes, and we have to go to Santa Fe tomorrow. We're presenting a project. It's a capital project we got funding for through the support of our local legislators and senators. We're going to put a greenhouse in the fall. We'll have that available for our agricultural program and also the science programs.
Nice.
But we have to go get the approval from the higher education department.
And I can see a
tomorrow.
lot of possibilities there. You know, the growing, of course, start growing food, and you know, we always talk about local foods, and that could be another foot in the ball game here on, you know, serving the needs of people with food and stuff too. The results that come from this greenhouse, that's pretty cool. So.
And Bureau of Labor Statistics here in New Mexico show that there's a larger than average need for agricultural workers in the next 10 years. So that's what we're banking on, and we put resources toward that agricultural program, and we really appreciate all the support from the community and all of the involvement of the community members that have been involved.
Well, and it's important. I mean, we say this, you know, every time I'm talking farm and ranch, and you know, there's people don't realize it. This is one of those things where supply is way larger than demand, you know, or demand is larger than supply right now, because you've got, you know, the world's getting bigger. More and more people are getting on the planet. Less and less people are getting in farming and agriculture and ranching and that side of things. So you're going to have less people that have to feed more people, and we're going to have to figure out how to do that. Technology is going to be involved in that. Science, absolutely. And so, you know, this is good. We're preparing for that. This is
right.
You know, and this is, you know, we're getting into fair season, you know, with the, you know, Chaves County Fair coming up and Eddy County Fair coming up, and the Eastern will be here in a month or two. But that's why we focus on the importance of those so much, is because the importance of farm and ranching and what role they're going to serve in the world. And that's, you know, right here in our own backyard, you guys recognize that and are trying to meet that need, or setting the table to meet that need.
And as you know, another need in the community is for nurses and healthcare providers in general. We had state funding also that we received and very appreciative for to increase the nursing program. And we have local contractors that are working on that project, and we hope to have the expansion done where they can double the size of their cohort ready for the January classes that will be coming in.
So maybe bigger, more enrollment accepted in the nursing program here when those facilities are open.
Yes.
Here too.
And so that goes to just all the career tech ed opportunities. We obviously have other degrees where folks can come, and if they want to earn the associate degree to go on to a bachelor's, you know, whether that's in education or one of the behavioral sciences, or you know, any of those degrees that someone might want to come in with our program and study, and then go on to Portales or
the One Eastern program,
other program that they can earn their bachelor's degree. And
Absolutely.
so we have a lot of those opportunities for students.
And of course, you know, if it goes in different directions, that's the beauty of New Mexico too. So if your aspirations to go to UNM or whatever it is, everything you do here seamlessly transfers there. And it's, I'm telling you right now, 1,000% cheaper doing it here than it is at one of those places.
and I do want to, again, just note we have the early college high school program with the Roswell Independent School District. And one of their graduates, and I'll just brag on him a little bit, I don't want to say his name, but one of our graduates from 2 years ago just finished at New Mexico Tech. He's 20 years old and finished with his bachelor's in an engineering field.
He's on the, he's flying.
And is on the way to a master's program, and he's not 21 yet. So, yeah, been moving pretty quickly through all of those steps.
As a kid, we had Doogie Howser, and now all the kids are Doogie Howser. That's great. That's awesome. And do you know what his aspirations or goal, like what he wants to do with
biomedical or medical school? He's still exploring things.
Okay, I didn't know if he was going to end up in Los Alamos or what's going on. But,
that's a possibility. That's a possibility.
Well, this way, we don't hear from. No, I'm just kidding. But the opportunities are endless here too. And then of course, you know, folks that are just looking, you know, maybe I'm not going for a degree plan, but maybe I'm retired or I'm just trying to get a letter or get something so I can get a promotion in my own career field. Please come on down to the campus now, talk with the counselors, get registered, and we can get you set up, whatever your goals are. Maybe you're retired and you're just like, hey, I want to do some art classes, or I want to do one of the physical ed. I want to sign up for one of the exercise classes. We can do all that. Absolutely. That can be done too. Come on down to the campus and let's get signed up.
Right. Lots of different opportunities.
Yeah.
And another thing I did want to mention, we are partnering with a couple of community partners. The Chavez County Veterans Association purchased a Huey helicopter.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And they had it, I think, back in December, January timeframe, and they brought it over to Roswell, and it was sitting outside in a person's field here in Roswell. And we went and looked at it, and they asked if we had space where it could be put inside so they could do remediation on it. The end goal is to have it displayed at the Veterans Cemetery on a pedestal 15, 20 feet in the air.
Very nice.
Like they have at some other locations around the state.
Yeah.
So,
that's very cool. And of course, for folks that aren't familiar, the Huey helicopter is, put it this way, it's the Vietnam era. And so it's really one of the most iconic pieces of equipment of the Vietnam era. You know what? Not too many different equipment evoke that feeling. When you see a Huey, I think, at least I do, I think directly of Vietnam era and that type of, that point of history here. So that's pretty cool that at the end game is here. It's going to be up on a pedestal there at the Veterans Memorial there, or the Veterans Park there at the cemetery. But so it looks like you guys will be the home for the restoration of that here as it takes place here over the next several months.
And some air sale volunteers are going to come over and start doing the restoration. It's really in pretty decent shape.
Okay.
And there's some work that does have to be done.
Well, I imagine it's going to be a lot of sheet metal work. It's probably, like you said, it's been sitting out for a period of time here. Lord knows where it was sitting between now and when it was still an active service piece of equipment. So I imagine there's a lot of rust. There's some sheet metal. There's going to be some replacements of things. The good news is you don't have to make this fly-worthy, but it is got to be display-worthy. So there's a few different steps to do that because you're preserving it on there. But that's going to be pretty cool. I hope we do a big to-do when that is ready to be put on display and everything.
I think they'll do something, and our students from the aviation maintenance program will be involved a little bit.
That'll be cool. They'll be
folks
taking pride in that. I hope some of them stay local, and so 10 years down the road, they're here with their kids, and they're like, "Dad, help restore that thing. That'd be our mom help restore that. That'd be cool." Yeah. So I love those kind of moments. So.
Right.
A future piece of Roswell history coming our way here.
Yes.
Very good. So that'll be here. I'm guessing that'll probably be a year or two project out to take that thing restoration.
I'm not sure how long they're gonna have it. I mean, we have it in an auto bay that we have space for right now, and we haven't really talked about a time frame. They want to try to get it done as quickly as they can, obviously.
Sure.
But they're going to have to put some effort into it and figure out what they exactly want to do and how they want to display it.
Just gee whiz curious, and I don't know, this is something I probably need to ask the veterans group, but are they collecting money? Are they trying to get, because I imagine it's not cheap to restore a Vietnam era helicopter.
So I haven't been involved with that portion of it.
Okay.
Our agreement was we'll give them space and they'll allow our students to get some experience working on the helicopter airframe.
Well, I'll ask around and see what they can, because I imagine if there's people trying to collect money for this to help that, imagine there's some people listening that would like to contribute to that. So, in honor, maybe their relatives or they themselves spent some time sitting in one of those bad boys.
Right. Right.
So, but that's really cool. I didn't. Dr. Powell was just telling me about it earlier. That's the first I've heard of that. That's really cool that they're doing that. So very good.
And I don't know how much announcement they want to do till it's all over, but it's there. Students are going to be working on it, and people will be seeing it, and they're going, "What's this doing over here in the auto bay?" And it's it's there because we had space for it.
Here, let's just tell people we're DL. There's an A team, and they're real, and we keep their Huey here.
There we go.
We keep the black van in the other automotive bay over here. A guy named Murdoch flies that thing. But anyway, that's pretty cool here too. Yeah. Speaking of technology, things like that, I know we're getting ready for it, but of course, it will be that time of the year when we're going to be asking about the bond issues and things like that. Early jump, I know they work out years for this upcoming bond. What are the projects that are on the slate for Eastern Mexico University?
So this isn't one of the GeoBond years, but this year what we are going to go out for is a mill levy increase.
Mill levy, I'm sorry.
And the
Correct,
purpose for that is to increase career technical education. And we're working with the school districts in Chavez County. We're bringing the superintendents out. I've met with 3 of the 5, and we'll get the other 2 out pretty soon in our service area to see the facilities, because there's a real need in Roswell, as we know, for electricians, plumbers, HVAC, all the skilled labor trades, and also health sciences. And so we want to make sure that we have funding available to meet those needs, and also work with the school districts on more dual credit opportunities, especially the rural schools where they don't necessarily have the same capabilities as in Roswell, where they have opportunities at Goddard and Roswell High and even University High with the different career tracks. They do have some at Dexter, Hagerman, and Lake Arthur, and we're just trying to make sure that we can prepare those students as well for career and technical education programming.
Excellent. Very good. So that's part of that synergy thing we were talking about at the beginning here, meeting the needs, and this is going, even further to meet not only community needs, but high school and younger, offering the multiple vocation paths for these students. And they're not thinking about it after they graduate. They're thinking about when they're starting high school, in that portion of their lifespan and things like that, which is great, and for me, this is, as someone that grew up in that era of, okay, you go to 12th grade, you graduate high school, I don't care what college, go to college, do something until you figure out, they always say but I'm good at this, I'm good at that. This is more of this, not everybody's geared to get a bachelor's degree or a master's degree. Sometimes they get that, that journeyman stamp as an electrician or a carpenter or a welder or whatever it is. And I hate to burst your bubble, those folks, you've seen the houses they live in. You see they're always well fed because their job is in demand, and they can call their shots, and you can do it anywhere where people live. So that's a great opportunity for folks to do that, and to encourage people that have that desire at a younger level is a good thing, not a bad thing.
And I think also it can impact the graduation rates for some students if they aren't enamored about the academic portions. I know one fellow is in one of our workforce training programs. He's been trying to get into it for 2 years. He just graduated high school and just turned 18, so he was now eligible to actually go get his CDL, and he was in our first summer class for the CDL programming. And so I need to check in and see where he's at. But it's those types of opportunities that we can offer, whether it's credit programming or through the workforce training with Chris Bullard, who's been on the show in the past.
Absolutely.
Where we have a variety of non-credit opportunities for training in different fields. We do drone training, the CDL training. Out at campus right now for the youth, we have the camps going on, the Roblox Masters. And
we were just talking about that earlier. Yeah.
With the coding and trying to get exposure to the computers at an early age.
As technology advances, you looked at UFO Festival this weekend. We had this amazing drone show downtown, and I know the drone stuff you guys do gets a little bit deeper than that, but that's a working advertisement right there for what our future holds, and what drones initially it was a cool toy that you could buy at Radio Shack. It's kind of the first generations of this, but now from working in the oil field to any of these wind turbines, any of those stuff, they're using drones to send down there and check this stuff out. I'm sure the government, the weather service, military, there's all kinds of drone applications going on there. So it's a field now. It's its own path of technology and training and careers.
And we do offer that drone training, and we have some workforce training funds. The state, as you know, has been very much in a boom capacity with the oil and gas the last 5 or 6 years. And so the legislature has given money to the colleges and universities to develop more workforce training that's in the critical needs. And so, again, we have a variety of programs, and Chris Bullard at our campus is the person to talk to regarding those workforce training programs.
He knows his stuff.
Yes.
But again, this is the time with come on down to the campus with with fall semester here just a couple weeks away from firing up, about a month out. But now's the time to look into some of this, or or maybe let's start the path. Let's start that conversation today. Let's see what happens. And then I'm going to tell you right now, once you sign up, and I'm saying this every time, once you're done in the register in and getting everything else, walk right on over to that financial aid office, get some FAFSA forms filled out, and let's see how many opportunities we can get to get scholarships or grants. Or, I'm telling you, every single person needs to get into that room and apply for it, because there's so much money every year that goes uncollected because people didn't know about it or think they didn't qualify for it. Look, when it comes to getting money, it's the dartboard effect. Let's just throw everything at the wall and see what sticks, kind of deal, and let's see what happens here. So I encourage you to let the financial aid folks work with you on helping you get as much of it paid for by somebody else.
Well, and again, here in New Mexico, we have the Opportunity Scholarship and the Lottery Scholarship. It's my understanding the Lottery Scholarship's fully funded till 2029,
Excellent.
And the Opportunity Scholarship has funding through 29 with some limitations on the specific types of classes, class fees that they're looking at. But they're both great opportunities that the state is providing for the New Mexico residents at this point.
Absolutely. But if you somehow are a little later on the boat and you don't qualify for some of those things, again, there's many other opportunities to get get you to help pay for this stuff. So turn over those rocks. Let them. And this is another thing, too. Once the semester starts here, don't forget there's a slurry of resources that are available on campus. So when you have that first week of classes that you're struggling, and you're like, how am I going to? There's tutoring assistance. If you need other kinds of assistance, personal assistance, food insecurity, the campus is there to help all of their students and people like that. And, if you've got issues and things like that, please, if you're struggling during this semester in any way, shape, or form, the campus offers many different opportunities to help you navigate. They get it. College life is, different. You're overwhelmed, especially if you're doing a work life and a school life and you're trying to juggle the two. There's a lot of resources the campus offers that can help you navigate when things get sticky. And they probably will. College is a challenge. That's the idea, is to challenge you a little bit. And you're there to learn. You're there to. So there's going to be moments where if you knew everything, what's the point? But so that's when those moments do hit. Please turn to the campus for those resources. I know that's a later down the road conversation, but while you're signing up now and thinking about it, when you hit those walls, there's people to help you get over the wall.
And the pool is still open, so we're very happy to have.
You guys
that
open until about Labor Day, or
that's our usual plan.
Yeah. So I'm going to take a stab that probably not many opportunities for private parties at those points. They usually get booked up pretty quick.
I would think they're filled, but you could always call.
Exactly. It could be a shot, could have been a cancellation, or it could be something, or who knows? Maybe you just luck out and say, you know what, it happens to be free that day. We can do that. But. And then, of course, roswell.enmu.edu is the website if you want to start perusing and looking at different course studies, things like that, before you head down to the campus. I believe you can even start your application there online and everything else. But at some point, you're going to want to come down to the campus and meet face-to-face, and let's start planning your course and how we're going to do this. Is there anything else we wanted to mention?
No, I just want to encourage individuals, that are interested in campus to come out, see the campus, take a tour, get a chance to talk with one of our advisors, see if there's opportunities for you there. And if you're not interested in the college degree, if you just want to come out and learn a skill, whether that's welding or automotive, get a little bit of knowledge about HVAC, whatever it happens to be, I think there's an opportunity for you to come out. And then on the healthcare side, we have the EMT basic, the EMT intermediate, and then obviously the paramedic programs, as well as our other health science programs in the respiratory therapy, the occupational therapy assistant, the nursing assistant program that we do. And that's a big one, especially with some of the youth challenge cadets. We'll get into that, as well as the EMT basic and some of the welding. And so there's just lots of opportunities on campus, depending on what your skill set is and what you're looking at to develop.
But I'm telling you right now, if you're looking, if you're looking for that career opportunity and just know, just about every one of those things that Dr. Powell just mentioned, the moment you walk across the stage, there are people ready to gobble you up and hire you right out the gate.
And that's what we try to focus on, is preparing students to meet the needs, their needs, and also community needs.
And so if you're looking, and the beauty is that's wherever life takes you, that will follow you, and you'll be in demand wherever you go. It's, healthcare. Anytime you're dealing with fields that are dealing with people's services and needs like that, there's always going to be demand where you go. You got to get people to one place, or you got to treat people a certain way. Then guess what? These will translate into careers in any town you go, and especially right here in southeast New Mexico.
Absolutely.
Good deal.
Well, thank you for the time, and we'll look forward to seeing folks come out and get registered for classes. And again, we'll continue with those summer programs, and maybe the pool will be available. It's open for the community to come swim.
Take a tour, have lunch, go out there and get something to eat, have lunch, take a tour, and see the beautiful campus and see where your opportunities lie ahead.
Yes.
So, but check it out first online, roswell.enmu.edu. Also, once you become a student, or even don't have to, but do it now, I'll just say, but once you become a student, you definitely want to make sure you get on your Facebook and like and follow all the Eastern pages, because once you're registered, that's the quickest way. If there's updates, changes, snow day, or whatever days like that happens, it goes to social media pretty quick first, and that's where it goes. Yeah. You even beat us here on the radio. So,
well, yeah, Martha Stab does a great job as our marketing and public relations director.
Absolutely. Plus, there's all kinds of neat little things besides the important stuff. A lot of great opportunities to learn more about what opportunities through the college here. So, good deal. Roswell.enmu.edu is the website. So.
Well, again, thank you very much for the time today.
We'll see you next time, and stay cool this week. That's the goal.
Yes.
104 is that's the day that we're going to find out how good the air conditioning and all these facilities are. And then the HVAC department, all right, kids, or the summer semester is now going to the streets. We're going to go fix a few buildings here around the campus.
Might have some opportunities.
There you go. Thank you.
I'm Jared Cirillo with your Pecos Valley news update. Massive floodwaters are again threatening parts of southern New Mexico. The monsoonal rains fell Tuesday in Ruidoso, leaving some people trapped in their homes and vehicles. New Mexico Department of Homeland Security spokesperson Danielle Silva said no injuries or deaths were reported as of late Tuesday, but that has changed overnight. We'll get to that just in a second. The extent of the destruction is not expected to be known until the water recedes. Emergency management officials in the region said the level of the Rio Ruidoso rose nearly 19 feet in a matter of minutes amid the heavy rainfall. A Weather Service flood gauge and companion video camera showed churning waters of the Rio Ruidoso surge over the river's banks and into the surrounding forest. Streets and bridges were closed in response. And as I mentioned, we have learned overnight that 3 people were found dead near Ruidoso. The victims reportedly swept downstream by the unprecedented floodwaters. The names of the victims have not been released, but emergency management says they are a male in his 40s, a 4-year-old girl, and a 7-year-old boy. You're up to date. I'm Jared Cirillo.
We all know Dame Helen Mirren from the Queen or Calendar Girls. Not many know that she's also a big philanthropist. So what would you do if she reached out to you personally through email or DM on social media to help her cause? I'm Kim Commando for Native Path Collagen. Get 45% off plus free shipping and a free gift at getnativepath.com/Kim. Getnativepath.com/Kim. Helen Mirren brings a ton of credibility, but one thing she wouldn't do is send you an email or DM and ask for crypto for a charity. Recently, the 79-year-old actress posted on Instagram a warning to her fans that such an email from an address, Dr. GoGo91, yeah, really, was not from her. You need to beware. Celebrity scams are everywhere, and they're only going to get more convincing. If you get something in your inbox from a celebrity, always ask yourself these things. Do they want money? Are they asking for crypto? And why would a celebrity do that in the first place? For sure, it's a scam. Sign up for my free newsletter at getkim.com. Tech is amazing, but it does take a toll on our lives. We're all guilty of spending hours just hunched over our screens, and those times of endless doom scrolling. It's not just draining your mind, it's aging your body too. That's why I take Native Path Collagen every single day. It helps replenish what your body loses over time by repairing joint and skin damage and restoring that youthful glow from the inside out. Outsmart the digital fatigue and take the supplement your tech-filled life needs. Native Path Collagen. Because screen time shouldn't show on your face. You'll feel the difference naturally with my 45% off deal. That's 45% off with free shipping and a free gift bundle. Here's what you need to do. Go to getnativepath.com/Kim. That's getnativepath.com/Kim. Get 45% off right now at getnativepath.com/Kim.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Individual results may vary.
Still burning cash on posters that get tattered, tired, and tossed? Turn heads with vibrant LED posters from DSI. Plug and play with custom updatable graphics.
Should be dry everywhere else. For the overnight hours, maybe a few clouds, our lows in the low 70s. The heat gets cranked up a little bit on Thursday. Sunshine and afternoon highs will be in the low 100s. Maybe a shower on Thursday night, sunny and around 100 on Friday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Still burning cash on. A seamless video wall. For over 27 years, DSI has helped New Mexico businesses communicate smarter with still burning cash on posters that get tattered, tired, and tossed. Turn heads with vibrant LED posters from DSI. Plug and play with custom updatable graphics. Showcase a single showstopper or link several for a seamless video wall. For over 27 years, DSI has helped New Mexico businesses communicate smarter with printers, IT support, AV, and more. Ready to elevate your message and cut costs? Call 888-386-7834 or visit dsinm.com today.
2-0, but then lost to Los Alamos. Last year's leading scorer, Olivia Rosso, 30 goals. She's now a senior. And they've got some underclassmen who also got some goals last year. Aubrey Bolanos, Brianna Rivera, and Abigail Palma. They'll open against Roswell August 19th at 4 o'clock. Meanwhile, Roswell, 11-9 last year. A little surprising. They didn't make the playoffs. 4-2 record. They've got some underclassmen that scored some goals. Emily Macias, Alaya Morales, and Elena Macias. They did lose their big gun, though. Brianna Castro graduated. The Sports Report brought to you by DSI. Call DSI for all your office technology needs. I'm Eric Butler at Roswell's Talk FM 106.5.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander. A choppy day in the markets left major U.S. stock indexes little change Tuesday as the Trump administration pressed its campaign to win more favorable trade deals with nations around the globe. Former federal officials and outside experts have warned for months that President Donald Trump's deep staffing cuts to the National Weather Service could endanger lives. After torrential rains and flash flooding struck Friday in the Texas Hill Country, the Weather Service came under fire from local officials who criticized what they described as inadequate forecasts. Some are linking the staff reductions to the disaster in Texas. President Trump again said Fed Chair Jerome Powell should resign immediately, repeating a call made last week, and noted that it's okay if Congress investigates the Fed chairman. United Airlines is resuming flights to Israel and will restart its New York-Tel Aviv route on July 22nd. The U.S. carrier had previously suspended flights through the end of July following the conflict in the Middle East. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander in Washington.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. The catfish has over 27,000 taste buds. Do you think they prefer fried or blackened? Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 7:59. Stay tuned next hour here, about 8:15 or so. Brian Luck, superintendent for the Roswell and Penn School District, scheduled to join us, or one of his designees. Give us an update on last school board meeting and just stuff happening around the RISD. So we'll have that for you next hour. Of course, as we get any updates on resources, stuff going on with the flooding in Ruidoso, we'll get you updated as we get information in on that. But as we all still are waking up and processing and reeling from what happened there yesterday. So as we get updates, we'll have that for you as well, too. Town Hall News is coming up here at the top of the hour here in about 20 seconds. And then, of course, we'll be back on the other side. Don't forget, in the 9 o'clock hour, we're going to replay an interview with John Thosen from New Mexico Shooting Sports Association. They got Event to Liberty next week. They want to stand-up comedians. It's going to be a fun night and supporting the organization. So we'll play that for you in the 9 o'clock hour. Town Hall News up next.
Talk Radio has landed on the all-new 106.5 FM KEND Roswell.
Breaking news this hour at townhall.com. I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. Governor Greg Abbott held a press conference Tuesday at the Hunt store following an aerial tour of the Texas Hill Country where all that flood damage left more than 100 people dead.
Just in the Kerr County area alone, there are 161 people who are known to be missing.
Abbott says, quote, the hearts of our fellow Texans are breaking every single day because of what people in this community and the surrounding area are going through. The Trump administration has some hope. It says it believes that a ceasefire in Gaza could now be just days away. We get an update from White House correspondent Greg Cluxton.
President Trump's Middle East envoy is optimistic that Israel and Hamas will agree to a truce very soon.
We are hopeful that by the end of this week we will have an agreement that will bring us into a 60-day ceasefire.
Steve Witkoff says the ceasefire would include the return of 10 living hostages and 9 deceased hostages. He says the hope is for a lasting peace in Gaza. Greg Clugston, Washington.
The European Court of Human Rights has sided against Russia now on 2 of 4 cases brought before it in a case by Ukraine and the Netherlands. We get a closer look on the case from correspondent Charles de Ledesma.
Europe's top human rights court has delivered 2 rulings against Russia, stating in the first ruling that Russia has violated international law during the conflict in Ukraine, the first time an international court has found Moscow responsible for human rights abuses since the full-scale invasion in 2022. The court also ruled Russia was behind the downing of flight MH17, the first time again an international court has found Moscow responsible for the 2014 tragedy that claimed 298 lives. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
Things are booming on Wall Street. The Dow's up about 220 points. More from townhall.com.
Hi, it's Mike Gallagher.
Here's an important message from the Diabetes Solution Center. Do you like pricking your fingers to test your blood sugar levels? No one does, but it's important to maintain your health. And now, by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you don't need to prick your fingers anymore. It's easy to use and helps you make more accurate diabetes treatment decisions. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now. And if you have Medicare or most major insurance coverage, you may be able to get a new CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost. Shipping is free, and we'll even bill your insurance company for you. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now to learn how to end the painful finger sticks and get your own continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
Problems at Wimbledon.
A malfunction with Wimbledon's new electronic line calling system required a point to be replayed during a quarterfinal match between Taylor Fritz and Karen Khachanov. The latest issue with the system occurred during the first game of the fourth set on court number 1 after Fritz had served at 15-love and the players exchanged shots. Then came a random fault call. The chair umpire stopped play and a few moments later ordered the players to replay the last point due to a malfunction. Khachanov won the replayed point, but the 5th-seeded Fritz advanced to the semifinals. I'm Gethin Coolbaugh.
Red Bull says Christian Horner has been released from his role as longtime principal of its Formula One racing team. Big change in the world of racing. Horner had been Red Bull team principal since it entered F1 as a full constructor back in 2005. Breaking news and analysis at townhall.com. A changing of the guard, if you will, as the Army is set to end most of its ceremonial horse programs and adopt those animals out.
The service is now announcing that it's moving towards a future without horses and is putting most of them up for adoption. A total of 141 horses will be affected, including those showcased during the military parade in Washington last month. The Army, however, will keep operating the Old Guard ceremonial caisson units at Joint Base San Antonio and Arlington National Cemetery for burial honors. The Army estimates that the move will save about $2 million a year. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
In the housing market, a report cites an increase in small investors amid a decline of prospective home buyers. The trend suggests that large institutional investors are scaling back their purchases, with many selling more homes right now than they're buying up. More of these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man on this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The Travelician, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 8 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 2.
The deuce.
Of Morning with Mike Winters right here.
Should just let Kim take it. She's in a very repeaty mood today. I can hear. She even introed with before the mics were on. Here's Mike. All right.
It's a little creepy.
Oh, what? She's a fan.
I know, but I'm right here. It's a little weird.
I'm your number one fan. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
That's right.
Asking in about a couple hours, you still fan.
Right? He knows me well.
Yeah, it's a.
I'm staying out of this one. Right? I'm just slowly back out of the room on this one. Let you guys fan out for a minute.
The Homer Simpson in the bush
yeah,
thing.
Exactly.
Well, happy Tuesday, everybody.
Wednesday.
Welcome to Wednesday. Sorry,
Yes. No,
it's crazy with
Yeah,
all the
I'm getting my days
stuff
mixed
for the
up.
Rio stuff.
Everybody's just off right now. I mean, it feels odd to just get back up and get back to work. I mean, I know life goes on, but with everything that's happening, you're watching it minute by minute on social. It's
just like it's almost like you wake up every day and you're like, all right, what's the crazy meter going to hit me with today?
Yep.
Yes.
At what point do we get to take a breath? That's what I'm saying. I'm tired of being sad.
Yeah, it is. It's one of those things that's like, man.
We need some good news and good times.
And even here's the thing: I'm so on edge that even the good news stories, they
Like,
get
what's
me.
next? Yeah.
I read a story, just now. I do a good news segment on my country show, mornings on 92.9 The Brand, and the story basically was there's a kid on the spectrum who was going to prom. His dad rides a motorcycle and was hoping to get some other fellow bikers to escort his son to the prom because he's been dealing with bullies.
Gotcha.
And 150 bikers showed up to escort this kid to the prom.
That's
Nice.
awesome.
And it was just
I don't think you got bullied at that.
No. They pull up and what?
I think 150 bikers ought to take care of that.
I like to, and I didn't get to read the story that much, but I like to think that he arrived in a sidecar with one of those leather helmets with the goggles on top,
Yes,
the full experience. But
that's awesome.
Actually, but the helmet has to be like the old German World War I helmets.
Yeah, the
with
leatherhead.
No. The metal one with the point on
Okay, I didn't know we were going DOS bikers.
Yes, I want that.
In my head there.
With the round googles.
Well, see, now we're getting into Mad Max territory.
Well, yeah, it's gonna little.
He arrived on the hood of a car playing an electric guitar.
Yeah. Mad Max meets Hogan's Heroes,
Right.
something in that area.
Somewhere in the F troop.
Multiplicity. You bring me a monkey, Steve. Something in that.
All right, we're going third clone level. 3 clones deep.
Yes, yeah, something like that. But yeah, well, yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, it's well, and I mean, obviously today we're talking about the flooding Reynosa, and literally, the day before we're talking about the
Kerr County
craziness in Texas, and it's just all right. We've had enough.
Yeah.
We're good. When's
Need some good times.
Believe it or not, last week we were doing aliens and 4th of July and everything else, and now it seems like a million miles away
we
right
were
now.
prepping for
last year
a
doesn't
festival.
seem that long ago when
I
it
know.
happened.
You want good news?
I would love some.
Farmers market starts this Saturday.
There you go.
Get some fresh produce.
That right there. I've been really looking forward to farmers market this year because number one, we've had a wetter summer, so I feel like that's really affected growing. And I think we're going to get some real good stuff out of this this harvest.
Yeah, yes, I hope so. But then again, I have no expertise in this. My thumb is as brown as can be.
Oh, 100%.
But I know like certain crops, there is a thing as too much rain and all that. So I don't know if we hit those too. So I know like certain grasses and things. I don't think there's certain times they don't want it raining.
Well, and the problem is, and this is something that we were running into a lot last week, is with that that hard packed soil that we have here in southeastern New Mexico, it doesn't saturate.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't let water in, so it just goes over. You know,
let my water in.
It wipes things out.
It's all underground.
Mm-hmm.
The water.
Yes.
Well, yeah, we live in the desert. This is things that, and then when we do get water, it doesn't know what to do with it.
And I guess Chicago also dealing with the situation last night. They said something like 5 inches of rain fell in under an hour.
Oh, wow.
What is going on?
That's a lot.
I mean, there are theories.
Crazy.
There's ideas, but
seed in the cloud.
Yeah.
Is the cloud seeding?
That's a talk of it, but
That's
I mean,
the
who
theory
knows?
But here's the thing, and I'm no expert but from what I'm reading, cloud seeding only lasts 24 hours.
Yeah, I have no idea. I'm just saying that's what the foil hats are
and that's
saying
the
online.
problem with being stupid is I don't know what to believe, and
Yeah.
right now it's really hard to figure out what to believe.
Well, the internet is the problem.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because something that is so wrong can be said by so many people, and it makes it seem like it's legit.
And misinformation spreads so much faster than information.
So one person gets on there with the foil hats and says, "Yeah, it's this," and next thing you know, everyone's like, "Yeah, that's the ticket," and then they start sharing.
And people don't have the discernment
Right.
to see what is true and false.
It's the mindset of if it bleeds, it leads, that you get a sensational story that's going to run on the front page that's misleading or, some kind of fakery. And then the correction to that news is then printed on page 6 the next day. So like a third of the people that saw page 1 will see page 6. And that's how misinformation just spreads like wildfire.
See,
like floodwaters.
I'll teach us old people how to do internet. Watch all your internet. And then if you want to know the real stories, tune in at Inside Edition at like 4:30 because they'll share the real ones. The ones that they did share, those are the fake ones.
I was legitimately waiting for you to cut to an ad read for ground news.
What's funny is you know what time Inside Edition comes
That's your
on.
fault, Kim. That's Kim's fault. I get home about work, and that's about what's coming on. So.
You know what I miss? Like, Inside Edition's great, but do you remember A Current Affair?
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember how they used to, like, yeah, exactly. The sound effect on their graphic. If we could just, somebody could buy that sound and put it on, like, Inside Edition.
Yeah.
That wow sound. I miss that. That was, you wanted to look at your screen when that was happening, you know?
You know what? That brought us one half of the Maury Povich Connie Chung marriage that we've all enjoyed for
You
so
could
many
probably
years.
find it on the YouTube.
Oh, I bet.
Wow. Oh, I'm sure it is. But it's probably in like lo-fi now. It's not, it sounds all grainy.
Yeah, it'll have like a behind it.
Yeah, but oh yeah, I remember the current, and it basically was the same hot garbage. They just made it sounded way more urgent or something. I don't know. Breaking news: vampire bats. There it is.
Yeah.
Hey.
Vampire bats cross the border into the United States.
I love that. That was such a wow. You sat up and you paid attention.
Killer bees are making their way.
When do we stop calling them killer bees and start calling them Africanized bees?
Oh, I guess when somebody,
determined the location.
They don't know they're killing.
They're just doing.
Don't want to defend them.
They're just doing what they were put here to do.
They're just from Africa. Okay.
Swarms of bees really were a big deal back in the 90s. Like that was like a big, and I think a lot, like being a child of the 90s, the movie My Girl,
Oh,
and
yeah.
watching Macaulay Culkin's character get it in the end. Spoiler alert, by the way.
Killer bees, vampire bats, and I'll throw in acid rain for the tic-tac-toe.
Right. Everything was acid rain.
Right.
What happened to acid rain? Do we still get it? Does it just fall in certain areas?
They meant acid reflux.
Uh-huh.
That's what they meant was, we're going to get a serious rise of acid reflux.
Which, in fairness, we did.
Yeah. I'm telling you, I look at tacos and get heartburn
The
now.
90s, though, that was good eating. Back
Yeah.
when Taco Bell put olives on things, that was good eating, man.
And Choritos.
Yeah, that's right. The churrito with the 3 olive slices.
Bring that back.
In all fairness, I don't recall hardly ever getting olives on any actual authentic Mexican cuisine.
I don't think it's a thing,
I
but
don't
it
think it's a
became
thing.
Taco Bell.
It was
thing.
totally a Taco Bell
I'm just like thinking now that I've been New Mexico-ified, and I'm like,
Yeah, it's
I
a
mean, I'm
Taco
sure I
Bell
had something
thing.
with an olive in it, but I don't recall
Here's-
eating olives in any
I'll
Mexican
say this.
cuisine.
I think that a medal of bravery should be given to any human being who is willing to walk into a Taco Bell in New Mexico and purchase a seafood salad back in the day.
Did they have one?
Yes,
They
would
did?
back in like the
I never
90s.
heard.
It was a seafood salad. It had like imitation crab, shrimp, and a couple of things, and it came inside of one of those like the taco bowls.
Oh,
And it was a
that doesn't
big
sound,
seller for a while. I
that does
cannot
not sound
imagine though.
appetizing to me.
You know who would get that? My mother.
Would she really?
She would totally order that. My mom was the biggest fan. For someone who grew up in Maryland and ate real seafood, my mom was the biggest fan of Subway seafood salad that they would have on a periodically, occasionally, and they would every single time seafood salad. I'm like, ew.
Yeah.
She would like it though.
I mean, I'm a fan of a seafood salad, but not one from a fast food
Well,
place.
that's a Subway seafood salad sandwich.
Right. Especially not from like a Subway or a Taco Bell.
Yeah.
Places known for, as the home of intestinal distress.
Well, it's just, all right. You come from Maryland, you don't eat fake crab meat. Well, why? Why would you?
Well, fake crab has its own.
It's like you come from New
Special.
Mexico. You don't go to have Tex-Mex.
But you don't.
I don't.
Sometimes I like me a good
I'll
Tex-Mex.
eat it if that's what's available.
Hey, Taco Mayo, me baby. I grew up on that stuff. Taco Mayo, Taco Tico. Those were big in Oklahoma.
I mean, it's like going into Red Lobster and saying, I'd like a burrito, please. I mean, it's just not, why would you ask for that? It's not appropriate.
Not me a week and a half ago looking on the Red Lobster online menu to see if they served chicken strips just so that I knew I could go there. I have to check any restaurant that I want to go to has chicken strips beforehand so that my daughter will have something to eat.
Yeah.
Food for kids is one thing, but for grown people.
That's what I'm saying. I want to go to a place where I can have something nice.
Right.
And they can have the
He
garbage
wants to
that
enjoy
they eat.
it too. Yeah.
Right.
By the way, I saw them. They started some boil thing that you get like a boil.
Mm-hmm.
Crab boil.
Yeah, like a seafood boil. Where?
Red Lobster. They got
really?
One of them. You better go hit the bank first before you go get that sucker.
$50.
It looks tasty, but yeah, they want some coinage.
Is it
for
a
that.
family boil?
They have jacked their prices up.
Well,
big time.
So everything else has.
It's the only reason they've stayed out of bankruptcy. Honestly,
I was like, man,
endless shrimp destroyed them.
they treating shrimp like it's like gourmet food.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, around here it is.
In the seafood world, shrimp is down here.
Yeah.
When you got lobster and crab, the shrimp is good, but it's not the star of the show.
It's not the star.
Not even close. Brian Luck, superintendent
Yes.
for the Roswell Independent School District, is here. He'll join us.
For the seafood lover in you, Brian Luck.
I bet he's a clam strip guy.
I feel like you shouldn't be casting those kind of judgments on a person without it even being
I'm
in
not
the room.
judging. I eat clam strips too.
Love a good clam strip. See, I like
It's
a
an
bad
observation.
I like
not
a
judgment.
bad clam strip. I'll go for some Long John Silver's clam strips. To be
Well,
honest,
it's
those
little pieces of clam they fry up. I mean, it's kind of hard to mess that up.
they're wonderful. But
it's basically easily mistaken for the fried
Mhm.
that comes with Long Johns. They still come with the fried.
the fried, the
Just the
Crispies?
pieces of fried that were
Yeah,
very
The batter that's
they
fried.
do. Yeah, they do come with that.
Little-
I made myself physically ill in high school because my friend and I, because we didn't have money, we'd go over there and they'd give you the boats of the Crispies for free.
Yeah.
Ooh,
and you
free
can just
fried.
put all your ingredients on it. I would
Some
coat mine in malt
vinegar.
vinegar.
Yeah.
And but yeah, I got violently ill doing that one time. And
Sounds like you should.
I stayed well away from Long John's for several
grease,
years.
huh?
Oh my god!
Because you're eating batter.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just batter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Clam strip lover Brian Luck on the way.
All right, it is 8:20. Here is your weather.
Weather this hour is brought to you by Bob Reed Pest Control. General pest control, termite control, trees, shrubs, and yard treatments for both residential and commercial. Find them online at bobreedpestcontrol.com or call today 575-623-5344. Serving all of southeast New Mexico.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Sunny and pretty hot today, mid to upper 90s. We do have a slim chance of an afternoon thunderstorm around Roswell, but it should be dry everywhere else. For the overnight hours, maybe a few clouds, our lows in the low 70s. The heat gets cranked up a little bit on Thursday. Sunshine and afternoon highs will be in the low 100s. Maybe a shower on Thursday night, sunny and around 100 on Friday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 72 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 73%. Still says the winds are out of the south at 13. It doesn't look that breezy out there, but what do I know? Expect a high of 97 today under sunny and hot conditions. Southeast winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Clear tonight with an overnight low of 71. South winds at around 10 miles per hour. For you Thursday, going to be a warm 100 hitting the century mark with south winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. And then, this is good news. They backed off remember, like yesterday I was saying there's going to be Friday, it's going to be like 104 and all that. Well, now they're saying there's a 20% chance it rain tomorrow night with an overnight low of 72. And then Friday, sunny and hot, but a high of 98. Not 104. 98 sounds way better than 104. And then Friday night, we're looking at a 20% chance of rain. Partly cloudy and 70 for a high. A 40% on Saturday for the afternoon. Partly cloudy and 91, which, again, not 100. A 30% Saturday night. A 30% on Sunday with a high of 89. Mostly sunny. So this little bit cooler spell is kind of coming and changing that 104 on us here. And then I am looking, at least for the first half of next week, every day we're looking at 30 to 20% chances of rain with highs in the low 90s. So rain chances, hopefully not of the levels we've been getting. Just rain, just regular garden variety rain, please. No, we don't need inches of rain in minutes, please. None of that. All right, 8:22. We're going to take a quick 3.5-minute break. And then Brian Luck, superintendent for the Roswell Independent School District, will join us. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winter.
Lights, camera, action. Get superhero savings during our summer blockbuster sales event going on right now at Roswell Ford. Hey Roswell, you don't need to be a hero to pay zero. Drive home a new Ford with zero down and zero payments this summer. Plus, at Roswell Ford, everyone gets employee pricing. You heard right. At Roswell Ford, you pay what we pay on our huge inventory of new Fords. Stuck in your loan or lease and want out early? Roswell Ford can get you released, even if you owe thousands more than it's worth, regardless of make, miles, or condition. Don't let the credit villains keep you from driving your dream car. At Roswell Ford, getting approved is a possible mission, so you can pay what we pay. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to find the best car and get massive American-made savings and the best car buying experience. Get on board at Roswell Ford, because we'll do whatever it takes to make a deal. 821 North Main Street in beautiful Roswell. Call 575-623-3673 or online at roswellford.com. Interest accrues from date of sale on select vehicles. Trade balances refinanced to new loan. Subject to lender approval. Offers not combined.
Do you want to improve the appearance of your smile or increase your self-esteem and confidence? Many people have already chosen to update their smile with veneers. Here at Carabelli Dental in Roswell, we work with our patients to understand their smile goals. With veneer treatment, we can eliminate gaps between teeth, solve the problems of stained teeth, and even perfect uneven or misshaped teeth. You owe it to yourself to have the smile you know is possible. Call us now.
Come see the team at Carabelli Dental or call 575-622-4455.
So I make a silly joke about it never raining, and now it seems like it'll never quit.
Hi, this is Ben Manette from Roswell Seed Company. All this rain is great, but soon the weeds will be waist high and the bugs will be as thick as flies. But here at Roswell Seed, we have just what you need to control the weeds and fend off the bugs before they take over. So come see us at Roswell Seed, and be careful what you joke about. Mother Nature sure has a wicked sense of humor.
For the first time ever, the National Championship Air Races are touching down in Roswell, New Mexico. From September 10th through the 14th, witness the world's best pilots battle it out in the fastest motorsport on the planet. Vintage warbirds, cutting-edge jets, aerobatics, and family fun, all against the stunning New Mexico sky. 3, 2, 1. Get your tickets now at airrace.org. Don't miss this high-octane spectacle.
Do you know what the hardest part of dealing with the roofer is? Just trying to get them on the phone. Jennifer here from Trustmark Roofing, and I want you to know that you can always trust Trustmark Roofing to answer our phone. Need a free roof inspection? Just call us at 575-755-ROOF, and we'll answer with a live person, a real human being. Have a roofing project already going with us and need to discuss it? Just call 575-755-ROOF, and we will answer the phone. No answering machine, no voicemails, and no weird robot automated attendant. That's because at Trustmark Roofing, we're all about relationships and treating people right. That's true for customers and vendors and insurance companies and employees. Anyone and everyone who comes in contact with our company. So if you have any roofing needs at all, trust Trustmark to treat you right and to answer the phone. Our number again is 575-755-ROOF, or find us online at trustmarkroofpros.com.
Trustmark Roofing, we put people first.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Men are 6 times more likely to be struck by lightning than women. That's because men are 6 times more likely to wear a tinfoil hat in a thunderstorm. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 26 minutes after 8 o'clock, and joining us in the studio this morning, Superintendent for the Roswell Independent School District, Brian Luck, back with us. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
Doing great. How about yourself?
It's summer, bud.
He is a clam strip guy, right?
Yes, sir.
So ain't nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with
Sean's getting all accusatory, like I made some judgmental thing. We can solve world problems over a clam strip, maybe.
As we should. Who would think differently besides Sean?
That's right. But anyway, of course, this is kind of quiet in the public eye as far as school, but I know this is kind of it's the off season, so they got to get ready for the season. So there's, getting the buildings,
yes, sir,
ready to go. All that's kind of this time of year for you guys, right?
It is. It's interesting that you say that. I ended the board meeting last night with, do y'all realize the next time we see each other, we'll be back in school?
Sure.
Sorry. Sorry about that one. No, there is a ton of work going on right now, as anybody that's in the business knows. And I will say that if you're, got it on your plans to get up to a building to go register or to go check on a schedule, this is about the time where we've got the rooms done and we've got all the little smaller places cleaned, and now we're working on the hallways and the lobbies. And so there may be a little bit of disruption as far as getting in there. Just be a little patient with us. I mean, our end goal is so that once the teachers walk back in the door, that everything is ready to rock and roll. And
hit the ground running.
And you're right. I mean, we're clock's ticking. It's been a good summer. We've had a lot of work done. We've had a lot of closure with things that we did in the last year, and then, again, ramping up for this year.
You know what I love, though? And this is, granted, because my wife's been teaching as long as she has. And, we talk about, we got to get the buildings ready and all this. But, as someone that remembers 25 years ago, it is so night and day different. Because back then, you're like, all right, how many swamp coolers we got working? How, the trailer, we need to move trailer. Now we got, for the most part, every school in the district is been upgraded and ready to. It is much easier task to probably maintain and get ready than, say, 25 years ago.
It is, and technology does a lot. I mean, some of our cleaning equipment that we have at the schools does make it a whole lot easier for our crews to do the work. But I mean, at the end of the day, someone's pushing a button, someone's on a mop running the stripper, someone's getting stuff ready to go. But you bring up the swamp coolers. When I first started, I mean, there were the majority of the buildings in town. That's what you ran off of, and it made an early start in August really hot. Plain and simple.
It was 85 degrees, 90 degrees in some of them classrooms.
Oh, it absolutely. And the funny thing is too is one of the last places to get done that we did get centralized heating and cooling was central office.
Right, the building that you guys would hang out most of the time.
Right, and that as it should be. I compliment the people that had the foresight, that take care of the kids first. Obviously, we had air conditioners and we had window units and stuff in those offices, but when you would go and you'd open a door to an office and literally you
get smacked in the face.
You would mess up your hair and do all kinds of things because of the pressure in that room. But it does make it a whole lot easier. And if you just jinx us for having HVAC problems right there coming up, this is being recorded, and I will come back to you.
I've had a history of these things and brought into Mojo by accident. I apologize for every one of them.
Yeah,
but it was just one of those things. Like I remember though, Pepperidge Farm. I remember that back then when I remember we going into Kim's classroom and I'm like, oh my God, it's like, yeah, we got it. It's just that was the norm for years, and now it's not that big a deal.
And it's interesting too. The longer you do this, and I say this, any teacher right now, and I say, hey, smell the building the first time you go back to it. Like right now, can you smell it in your head? And most of them can.
Yeah.
It has a clean odor to it. The fresh wax, if it's been painted or any kind of touch up work.
No, you don't have to open your eyes. Just walk.
No,
I know where I'm at.
Exactly. And you know where you're at. And the other part of it too is it kind of sets the body in motion. And that's what you do as a job. And
it triggers the brain. All right, I'm in teacher mode, or I'm in job mode.
Yeah, I'm in go mode, and hopefully it's a good thing. And then you have a good year. And we go from there. So if I can, real quick before we get started, I just want to compliment Dr. Powell. I listened to that interview coming over here. What a cool individual.
Yeah.
I cannot think of any other college president that could pick up a kid's name or have a thought like he was with 2 or 3 of the kids and students that had gone to his school.
Yeah.
You don't find that in other places. I mean, Texas Tech, the Chancellor of Tech, I'm sure he does a phenomenal job, but to have him come on and go
recall names of students in a class,
speak of them that personally, that there's a personal connection to those kids. We look forward to working with the college. They've been such great partners for us, and we fully support what they're doing out there. I was one of the 3 that went on the tour the other day. I got to go in the flight simulator. We crashed. I wasn't driving. They wouldn't let me drive. I was like, I'll drive.
Stick to running school districts, not.
Yeah, but we're really behind it. That Huey helicopter. What a cool thing that's going to be.
I'm looking forward to that.
And a great addition to that veteran cemetery. What an honor that's going to be. But
and I think it's going to be even more special if the students in the college get to actually make an active participants in the restaurant. I know they're going to have Aircell and some others help, but I think that's even a more cooler gesture to have.
Oh yeah,
some of the students that 10 years from now they're going to be out there with their kids or whatever. And say, your dad had a hand in that, or your mom had a hand in that. That'd be pretty cool.
Well, we went to a graduation probably about 15 years ago in the hangar. Excuse me, and how much different it is now than it was then, and how they just have to continue to keep advancing it. And it does take funds to do that. So just wanted to make sure for a shout out for him.
Absolutely. And kind of talking about the other stuff, and this is really cool that, like you said, the partnership that the RSD and the college have, and at the end of the day, it just makes each other better and makes our whole community better. And these kids, but it gives them that opportunity to show that there's multiple paths to success. There isn't just the one. Okay, this way. Let's look. If your brain, your body is more skilled at this kind of work, let's start grooming it now.
Right.
We don't have to. And that's to me that's going to allow so many people to find their niche earlier in life and find that path a lot easier.
Well, and the goal now is to merge because when you start offering different things and people start taking advantage of, and then other people that they may not have the time.
Mm-hmm.
They're involved in different things, and so that's my goal right now. Is how do we blend the two so that everybody has the chance to do really almost as much as possible as what they want. What I'm trying to avoid is I'm going to do this or this,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's unfortunately it's a stigma. Well, if you can't do this, or if you don't want to do this, then you'll do this.
Right.
And it's like, well, why can't we do both?
Sure.
And that's going to be the challenge, because there's 24 hours in a day, and 8 classes in a high school schedule.
Till we get that Harry Potter clock thing that can turn back time, if we can work one of those out, then until then we got to deal with the best we can.
I tell you what, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be neat. But as far as the work that Mrs. Cole and her crew are doing with the CTE programs in the high schools and now into the mid schools, that's where we're headed. And we had a presentation last night on our attendance, and how our attendance is improved.
Good.
Overall, and there's a reason for that. They're wanting to be there for a reason. They're wanting to stay. We're just hoping to double down on that.
Is part
really
of that too
push.
COVID still? I mean, as we get farther away from COVID, because obviously COVID impacted attendance big time. Are we still seeing impacts from that a little bit, even 5 years later?
My professional, unbiased opinion would be that it established a new norm for a set of people.
Gotcha.
That they didn't totally put the importance of every day, and that it's taken us a while, because it really hasn't been that long.
Right.
That we've had to do a little bit of a retrain and a rethink that, yes, it is, they are missing stuff. And although they can probably pull up an assignment on the computer, they're still missing that face-to-face interaction with the teacher. And that's at all grade levels. I mean, we had some elementary schools that grew like enormous. We had some that grew by just a small, minute percent. And I pointed out to the board, I said, some of that's life-changing for those families that for 3 years, they were able to do this. And then now all of a sudden, for whatever reason, they made the decision that they were going to change their ways and really put the onus on getting their kids to school more.
Sure.
And it makes a difference. And that's 100% those families.
Well, and this is the evidence you see here, and I'm not, but this is just what we're seeing, is, the kids that were starting school at the time of COVID, even 5 years down the road, where they're now getting ready for middle school age, in that area, that group of kids still aren't really up to speed where they should be at that level at some level.
Right.
And a lot of it's because they weren't in classrooms. They weren't face-to-face. They weren't in front of teachers in those formative years, and they're still making up for some of that. I mean, the evidence is just showing it across the board,
Right.
across the country.
Well, and if you think about it, I mean, even on your phone, you'll get a photo or something that'll pop up from a trip you did. And if it's 4 or 5 years ago, that's that magic time window of when that all started happening. Take a look at yourself. Take a look at the people that are with you, especially if you have kids in the photo. Look at how different physically they are now, okay? And that there were things that were not the same that they were for everybody else. I think, I know our staff has done about as good of a job as they can. And, we've established a new set of norm, and we're going. The work that's come out of even the public education department, I mean, they always kind of get a bad rap. But, they had to deal with a lot of this too.
Yep.
So,
this is not a unique thing to one.
Yeah.
That's what I was kind of saying. This is on a national scale.
Right.
It was just that group of kids are literally a little bit, behind just because of the lack of being in a classroom during that time.
Well,
and it's just the evidence is still showing that to this day.
When I was at the high school level, I kind of coined a phrase that you're special, but you're not different.
Right.
And that's the way I look at that group of kiddos. They're going to be a special group of kids as they go through, but we don't need to be treating them any different.
Exactly. That's their hurdle. They've got to, just like we all have our own hurdles in different generations
Right.
and different things, and that's you can't give an exception because of this, and life still moves on. We still got to get these folks to where they need to be.
Right.
We just got to get a little bit more creative on how we do that for this.
Well, and I really do look for some great things with that group, because I think that as they've moved through, the test scores have improved, but we've also got some more focused initiatives that we've put in place just for all kids, that the kinks have all been worked out. So about the time that group hits the 6th, 7th grade, they really should be the benefactor of things resources that have never been available to kids in our school. And not because we planned it that way. That's just where it's going to lay out. You know, I'm going to go that glass is half full right now, and I am looking forward to
Well,
to
the
work
technology
that
will
they
get
do.
better. We can, I'm going to take a stab at some point. It's going to be like the Marvel movies where they have the little hollow meetings where there's the teacher in one room and like everyone's a hollow image of someone in a. I mean, I would not be surprised if that's what we see. Maybe not in my lifetime, but in some young people's lifetime here.
Well, the irony is when we had a really heavy math shortage, probably about 10 years ago here in our district. And it's funny you say that because we had a teacher doing a live lesson in one room, and we were piping that teacher into probably about 6 different classrooms over the Promethean board. So, yeah. I can see something along those lines, but
and that will work when they get the technology right, and it looks and feels like the real people in a room together interacting, because then you're not really missing that beat.
But for all of the union people that are listening right now, that is not the mode of Brian Luxon Independent, nor the Roswell Independent School District as a whole. We still value our educators greatly.
And if you're mad, blame Captain America. Sorry. He put a thought in our head.
So we did have the Legislative Educational Study Committee, the LESC, was in Roswell last week. We had several senators and representatives, and we had them over at Del Norte for 3 days. And what they do is they, Candy Spency's on that, several of the crew that we work with a lot. And they come in, they get feedback. They're constantly working. A lot of people think that the legislators, if it's not in session, they're not doing anything. Right. Oh my gosh, that is so wrong. For 3 days, they just got pounded with information. Hats off to them for giving up their time to come and listen to educators and to hear the reports.
Well, this is how they take the ammo back to the legislative session. So when they fight hard for these bills that help us, they see it because they're boots on the ground. They're right in there getting the big picture from the people that do this every day.
Well, and I will say this is the first time that we could remember that they were in Roswell. We had another group here a few years ago, but this particular committee, they were, one of the first times they were ever here. John Cena is oversees that. Senator Bill Souls, I think, is the chair of that committee right now. Came in, did great work, and just had some really good informative sessions with them, kind of going back and forth, getting a little bit of inside baseball, from them, and look forward to some great relationships and continued work with that.
That's awesome. Good.
Board meeting last night. Started off with some pretty cool displays. Roswell High School FFA, Hollis Boardman, and the work that he's doing had some really cool metal art.
They're about to get busy.
Tell you what,
with fair season,
when you said the fair season, I just kind of stopped. I was like, oh my god, yes.
Yeah, we're about a week out from the fairs.
Yeah. And they just, they were able to come in. They made a sign for us right now that it takes like 4 people to pick up, but really, really cool. They have did a serviceman statue for the veterans assembly over at Roswell High. And had that, just kind of got an opportunity to brag on them a little bit.
Where's that home going to be? Is it going to?
That's going to go back with Roswell High. I don't know where.
They'll keep it somewhere in there.
Oh, they're going to keep that one safe. That's pretty cool. It's a serviceman and he's saluting, and it's just like a shadow.
Well, maybe we can put it in the education building at the fair for a week. And then bring
I'll tell you what, we can do a lot of things.
Yeah.
I waved at the guy several times last night because I kept looking over, and I'm like, I just would see it out of the corner of my eye, and I'm
this guy keeps trying to get my attention. He's very.
If he ever going to talk, But then had an interesting update. So the Goddard High School Skills USA team went out to Atlanta, and we knew that, and took a group of kids out there. Had 4 sponsors. I think they had 6, 7 kids. Did phenomenal. I had one of the teams. One of the teams finished like 4th, 5th out of 50 in the nation. Super excited and got ready to come back, and flights were canceled. And then again, it's setting in Atlanta, and it's a Saturday. And how the heck? When are you going to get back? Well, come back and see us Monday. We'll start trying to find you a flight back home. Rented some cars, 17-hour drive, got back home, which created another item on our information list that, we were talking as far as contingency plans.
Sure.
And we have lots of groups. We even in state, we have teams that get stuck because of weather overnight.
All the time, yeah.
That, my board member, Mrs. Hilda Sanchez, had suggested, she says, you need a procedure in place that doesn't matter who is in charge. It doesn't matter who knows who in a town, that you have things in place that you can say, if this happens, this is your go-to.
A resource for that, yeah.
So that a brand new sponsor or a coach or whoever can have that, contingency envelope that says, if this happens, then this.
Break glass in case of emergency.
Call this.
Yeah.
So we're going to start working on that immediately and getting that set up. But,
Good deal.
But, I got to think about that, and I was like, we have had a lot of that
Well,
lately.
and just face it. Yeah, and that's always been, but even like when you get in air travel, and let's face it, the world of air travel seems very spotty right now.
Well,
guarantees of places aren't as guaranteed as they used to be, at least.
I like to fly. I don't mind flying.
Yeah.
I just and you can't avoid Dallas.
Yeah.
And it's you would say, well, it's the summer. It's the crazy time of year for weather. I don't know that there's not.
Yeah, it's always like that.
And that's it's the chance you're taking for the convenience of flying down there and flying back.
Absolutely. But even like you said, you're right. Like I don't care how many. Every year during football season, especially when you get to playoff time, there's snow somewhere and some bus somewhere can't make it through or whatever. And I mean, that's almost happens once a season somewhere in the state.
Well, Goddard girls basketball got snowed in last year in Farmington.
Mm-hmm.
I think we had another team somewhere else. But even a local trip last year, I mean, like a day trip down to Artesia, and we had a bus get caught in the the rumor is that they were part of the 15-car pileup that didn't turn out to be a 15-car pileup, and then the other piece to it is just good communication with the parents.
Absolutely, but just having that plan in place.
So,
by the way, it's also worked conversely. Remember when the Goddard football team helped out there was a car accident and they had to move some stuff, and the football team got out the bus and moved it, handle business. That was pretty cool.
That's funny you brought that up. I was on a rather long trip the other day, and it was not my turn to drive, so I actually pulled that post up on the Goddard Facebook page.
That's pretty cool.
So yes, quick update, something good. We have been negotiating with our insurance company on DeBrenham Stadium.
Okay.
Talked about it a little bit 2 months ago when I was in here.
Yeah.
Again, really didn't want to do anything detrimental to cause the insurance company not to take over. So we did get official in writing. I believe it was last Thursday that we could do a little more extensive cleanup than just blow the stuff out of the fence.
Oh, good. Okay.
So within 24 hours, the maintenance team was over there. They mowed it. They piled up a bunch of the nonsense in the junk. Had to wait until Monday of this week because the landfill had to dry out. If you drive by there today, it looks much better. We're still in negotiations. They've got bids out right now to resod it.
Okay.
And electrical work. So
is it going to be available for fall activities?
Not right now.
Okay.
As of right now, our fall football, which is the mid-school football, is all we play over there in the fall. Will be played at DeBrenham. We do that on Tuesday nights.
Okay.
The electrical, we're not sure on the electrical yet because the power has been killed from above.
Gotcha.
More ways than one. But as far as there's not a meter in our, I believe there is a meter, but there's not any power excels killed it. So we're working on that too to see the extent of what we've got.
Gotcha.
With that said, we've had a lot of rain and it looks really pretty. When that stops, again, we have no electricity to power the timer box that makes
so it's going to get really brown.
So it has the potential to get brown, but we're going to keep it mowed. We're going to keep it maintained.
Sure.
Hopefully
Well, I did notice over the weekend. Yeah, I was like, oh, look, it's looking pretty good over there.
Well, and I'll just call it what it is. We got a lot of flack as far as why haven't you this and why haven't you that? And, I have stood in front of any group or entity and said just that, the city owns DeBrenham, and God bless them. We have a very generous lease with the city, and part of that lease is that we'll maintain it.
But you can only go so far when it comes to this kind of work.
When you're, our insurance company had to come in and say basically that structurally sound so that they would insure it for us. And then in addition, it kicks in, and now our insurance is picking up the tab to get that facility back.
Got it.
Which we're all extremely blessed for that.
Now, as far as the electrical side, is that something that the city's going to have to work, or is that still on you guys?
Well, what'll happen is the insurance company will come through, their inspectors come in, deem the transformer either safe or unsafe, and then I would assume Excel would decide, are we going to power up back down to the box?
I got you.
So that's kind of out of my pay grade. That's one of the things on my list is to...
Once that hurdle's crossed, then they can
Correct.
decide what to do next. Basically.
Right. And you know what? Mr. Edwards and I were talking about that, board member James Edwards, and he says, it may work. And I said, and it may. I said, I don't really want to be the one that throws the switch. But, I said, we're looking at that. I mean, we're not just automatically assuming that it's ruined.
Sure.
Fact is, I would hope that it's not, because that would bring the cost down.
It was, and it's a lot of water, and water and electricity don't mix.
I hear that.
And
I can do the tune.
Yeah. And sometimes you don't find out the damage till you get down the road there, and then that also got fried.
Well, and you think about, this sounds dumb, but when you say, well, the sprinkler system may have gotten wet, and you're just like, well, isn't that the whole job?
Right.
Isn't that the job of the sprinkler system?
Well,
and it's like, yes, but it's not the job to set in water for multiple days.
Sure.
So, looking forward to coming back hopefully next month saying, hey, this is the start date. We're looking forward.
We got a good timeline on
to
this.
spring soccer, to spring whatever we're going to do over at DeBrenham.
Okay.
They did deem the bleachers safe.
Good.
So that was huge, because once we found that out, everybody just kind of took a big sigh. It's like the rest of it's cosmetic. We can fix this.
That was a big hurdle.
Absolutely.
So. Good.
Let's see real quick. Shoot. Got to find page 4 here. Did a lot of end of the year stuff. As far as our action items, did get our contracts approved with both of our unions. Our CWA contract went forward and was ratified and board approved last night.
So no holdouts.
No. REA, God bless them. That was a labor of love on that one. This year was the full contract negotiation.
Okay,
So everything was on the table, and it did take a while. They were at it for multiple months.
But they got it hammered out.
I tell you what, hats off, and I mean that. The salary schedules were TA'd with enough time that come July 10th paychecks, everything should be set, so that when our teachers come back in August, that their very first check will be the same as their very last check.
Okay.
We're not going to have to do the
prorate and back.
We don't have to prorate it, and then so a year from now we come in and they say, well, how come I lost money? And it's no, not because of this.
Got it at a different time.
Right. But both sets of union negotiations went through.
Good deal.
Let's see. Devon Energy with a donation to Early College High School Aviation Club. Thank you, Devon Energy. They've always been very good community stewards with us.
Love that.
Our federal Title I, II, and III applications, Title I, II, Title V applications went through for board approval last night. We're watching. We're not real sure what some of our federal funds are going to look like. We know what they've told us, and obviously we're hoping that everything plays through like it's supposed to with that. So excited for that. Just conducting.
Keeping fingers crossed, everything goes as advertised.
Well, and again, we've talked about it lots of times. The business is doing business.
Absolutely.
And then did have a first reading on one of our policies. It's a new requirement by the PED that we will have some type of a class disruption / cell phone policy, and we've had that policy forever. Push it in other districts around the state to ban cell phones on school campuses, and I'm not a proponent. I'm not a fan of that. I'll be honest.
Yeah, that's a double-edged sword right there, and because there is that mindset. When we were kids, we didn't need them, we didn't have them, but we live in a different world today than we did back then, and unfortunately, if one of these emergencies go down in a school, and I had a child in it, the first thing I want to know is make sure that kid's got his phone so I can get a hold of him.
Well, and it's amazing. Ironically, a lot of the times the kids will be looking at their phones, it's their parents texting them. Just a quick question. It's so easy to do now. But we've stuck with a little bit more of a building control type deal. as far as
Maybe we should take away the parents' phones. Kids can keep theirs. The parents can't have theirs.
Well, and it's sad. I've only looked at mine about 11 times since I've been here.
Well, it's blown up. I mean, you get texts constantly. So.
But that does go back. I mean, there once was a time where you didn't, and you didn't have to, and I don't know if things were better or worse. I just know, as a group, I would like to think that we can work, collaboratively.
Find that happy medium.
So that parents can have an idea where their kids are. They have immediate communication with them, but that we teach the kids to be responsible young adults that, put it away.
You're here to learn. You're not here to converse with others. Yeah.
Right. But your watch, your glasses, where does it stop?
Oh, yeah. I mean, technology
that
at
was,
some point, yeah. I mean, it's just going to be an chip in our brain at some point probably, but who knows. But, yeah, you're right. It's going to continue to evolve and change and get easier or harder depending on how you look at it.
That's right.
No. But anyway, yes, policies in place.
We're ready. We are in compliance. Well, that is us in a nutshell right now.
Good deal. Of course, don't forget if you can always go back and watch these if you go to the RSD's website. There's a link for the YouTube video of not only last night's meeting but previous meetings as well. There, probably a few years worth if you're really bored. But
insomnia killer right there.
You want to get into the weeds and of course, like you said, if you have questions at this point, our principals and things, are they
next week?
Next week they'll start. So if you need to visit your school for things, probably next week you'll start seeing some of the admin setting up shop and moving in for the school year here.
Right.
I know teachers are right behind them. So.
Well, and again, August 4th is the kids' start date. It's interesting. I was at something and someone misspoke and said, "Well, I heard y'all start in July," and everybody gasped. And I said, "No, it's August." and everyone, and I was like, the 4th. So don't get too excited. But again, that we wanted to change that because we did start last year on I think it was July 31st. It was super early. And from that point forward, it was just like, gosh, it just felt out of sync, even though it was only like 3 days sooner than what we would have started. But that was my thing. I said, we will not start before August. And based off of the current standards that the PED has for us right now, this is going to be the way it is.
This is probably going to be the model.
Well, as long as we're looking at 187 days, which is crucial for us for our funding, it's going to look something like this. The Thanksgiving break is really it's the wild card in this. Is do you wish for the full week or because this new calendar, we will come back. We will have kids in chairs after Memorial Day.
Yeah.
For at least one, I think it's 2 days if my memory serves me correctly. But that was the trade-off. That was the 2 days at Thanksgiving that was voted on by the group. And
sure. But it's maybe we should. When do you want to hold the vote? Because if you hold it maybe closer to this time of year, they're going to want the days. If you wait till the fall, they're like, no, Thanksgiving.
Well, and that kind of is the sad thing right there is that for the calendar gets voted on earlier so that it can get to the board because come January, I have people in my building that need the new calendar so that they can start setting up their schedules for the high schools for the next year. Yeah, it'll be interesting. I don't really sure what's going to come. I'm going to be wrong, whatever it is.
But I would predict frame of mind of when they do it. If I'd live an extra week off right now. Sure, that's what I want Thanksgiving.
Right. Well, and there was a group from Lovington that was at the LESC meeting the other day with a plan, and I met them afterwards, and I said, count me in. And it's more of your time versus the days, so that way we could hopefully pull some of that off. Because you're right. I mean, it is a haul, and they need some time off.
They do.
You need a day here and there, and you shouldn't have to burn one of your days just so that you can function.
This is true. But this is life. This is all of life. Everything gets faster, and like, when's that part we're supposed to slow down? It seems like we just keep adding more here. But
every day.
But Brian, as always, appreciate the visit, and anything else we can do, or if there are any outside of our normal visits that we need to come on and talk.
Sure.
Obviously, the next several weeks, people are going to start getting school right in their forebrains here. Matter of fact, they're probably already plotting back to school shopping as we speak.
Yeah. I saw a sign in a store the other day for back-to-school clothes, and I just kind of chuckled. Sorry, Kim, I can't.
Out go the pool for noodles, and in come the notebooks and pencils. So,
yes, sir.
But thank you, sir. We'll see you next time.
Yes, sir.
All right, it is closing in on 9 o'clock. Town Hall News is up next. Stay tuned. Next hour, we're going to replay our interview we had with John Thosen from New Mexico Shooting Sports Association, talking about they got an event coming up at the Liberty next week. So we'll do that next hour. You're listening to 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM, KEND, Roswell, New Mexico.
Breaking news this hour at townhall.com. I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. Texas Governor Greg Abbott spoke to the press yesterday after taking an aerial tour of the flood damage in the hill country of Texas. He says the search continues for about 160 people.
We will not stop until every missing person is accounted for. Know this also. There very likely could be more added to that list.
And the flash flooding over the weekend in the Texas Hill Country and Kerr County in particular left more than 100 people dead. Meanwhile, Texas State Senator Paul Betancourt is working on a bill to provide funding for warning sirens in the more flood-prone parts of Texas.
It follows devastating flash floods in Texas that killed over 100 people during the 4th of July weekend. The Houston Republican says federal studies show too many people ignore weather alerts on their cell phones. In addition, many kids at summer camp are not allowed to bring cell phones with them. Betancourt plans to have the bill ready for the upcoming special session of the Texas legislature, which starts July 21st. Tasha Stevens reporting.
President Trump is defending his timetable for imposing global tariffs. We get an update from White House correspondent Greg Cluxton.
After announcing sweeping tariffs in early April, the president issued a 90-day pause. That extension expires this week, and now the tariffs will take effect next month.
August 1st, they pay, and everybody pays. Everybody has to pay, and the incentive is that they have the right to deal in the United States.
He also told a cabinet meeting of plans to place a 50% tariff on copper and steep taxes on pharmaceutical drugs, as high as 200%. Greg Clugston, Washington.
And stocks opened higher on Wall Street as the administration seeks to win more favorable trade deals with global trading partners. Chipmaker NVIDIA makes history, surpassing $4 trillion in market valuation. More from townhall.com.
We all hear the radio ads about
Everybody wants cheap airfare, but where do you find it? You call low-cost airlines. Their prices are direct from the airlines, and they're so low you can't find these fares published anywhere. They specialize in cheap flights, discount hotel rooms, cheap car rental rates, and great package deals anywhere around the world. Wherever you want to go, they can help you get there cheaply and with a best price guarantee. If you want the lowest prices on your airline tickets or other travel services, call now. That's right, call. That's the only way to get these rates. Experts are standing by 24/7 to get you the cheapest airfare and hotel rates available. So don't wait. Call right now for the lowest travel prices anywhere and for great last-minute travel deals, too.
Call 866-755-5300. That's 866-755-5300. Again, that's 866-755-5300. Call us right now.
Move their shoes before boarding a flight.
The TSA is looking to abandon the requirement, according to reports. If implemented, it would put an end to a security screening mandate put in place almost 20 years ago, several years after shoe bomber Richard Reed's attempt to take down a flight from Paris to Miami in late 2001. Traveler newsletter Gate Access was first to report that the security screening change is coming. Some air travelers are able to skirt extra security requirements like taking off their shoes if they're part of a TSA pre-check paid program. I'm Julie Walker.
As job seekers look for work in a challenging environment, an increasing number are falling victim to scams that promise good pay for completing easy online tasks. Breaking news and analysis at townhall.com. Beethoven on a rumble strip?
A highway in Fujairah, UAE, now plays Beethoven's Ninth Symphony as cars drive over special rumble strips. Known as the Street of Music, this art project spans nearly a kilometer on the E84 highway coming into the city of Fujairah. Drivers on the right-hand lane can hear the iconic Ode to Joy as they drive over the rumble strips. The experience is a collaboration between the Fujairah Fine Arts Academy and local authorities, which aims to blend art with daily life. The musical road has become a social media sensation. Keith Peters, Washington.
A union representing thousands of city workers in Philadelphia and the city have reached a deal to end more than a week-long strike. The walkout had brought to a halt residential curbside trash pickup, and it also affected a number of other city services. You'll find more of these stories at townhall.com. From Washington, I'm Bob Agnew.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man on this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The Travelician, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican world radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 9 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 3 of Mornings with Mike Winters, right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy Wednesday.
Yeah.
Is it?
It is Wednesday.
That's just something people say.
Well,
It's like, I'm fine, thanks for asking.
In all fairness, this week's been like, I remember yesterday thinking, oh yeah, weekend's almost here, and then I was like, dang, it's only Tuesday.
Mhm.
But I, for a hot minute, thinking like the weekend was tomorrow.
Yeah,
you
for
know?
some reason, Monday, I was having Friday vibes. Like
Yeah.
I was like, oh shoot, I have to do the weekend. No, that's 4 days away.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, it's definitely one we need to be done with, I think, already. But
this summer for me is just flying by way too fast.
here's the problem: they advertised this. They only gave us 8 weeks. 8 weeks.
I don't even think it was that.
No, it was. It was a full 8 weeks. It was because the Hunter's teacher
for
had mentioned that.
kids.
Yeah, for the kids, not for you guys. You guys have to get back early, obviously. But is it August 1st is the first day?
4th will be
August
the first
4th for the
day of
kids,
school.
yeah.
Okay.
When's
Yeah.
your first day back?
I'll look at my calendar for the official calendar date, but I go back. I get my keys like a week before, a week or two.
Mm-hmm.
Start working on my class.
Get your room ready and stuff.
So, the teachers in service begins on the 30th.
Okay. So
a couple days before.
yeah, literally just like a few days beforehand. Yep, summer's pretty much dragging to a close. Back to school sales will be coming up soon.
It's only like the 9th today, so you still got a couple weeks. Just drink it in.
Yeah, just
I got a lot to do.
Drink it
during
in.
that time.
It's like the back half of the steak. Just savor it a little more, you know?
Yeah.
Chew it a few more times and enjoy it.
Yes, enjoy what you got. Worry about what you got to worry about when it's time to worry about it.
Enjoy. I've been a lot more actively trying to just live in the moment because I tend to like look at the big picture of things. And right now, outlook bleak. So I'm trying to be more in the moment, just kind of enjoying, like for example, with my kids in their summertime. I'm trying to kind of soak that in. My daughter's birthday is this Friday actually, so her party's this weekend, and she's been on another level mood wise. Like she's been kind of elevated. Like it's my birthday week, stuff like that. So
a little pep in her step.
It's made this week with the kids a lot smoother, and I'm just kind of trying to enjoy those moments
Of course,
right now.
with that anticipation, you got to come hard in the paint with the birthday weekend. I'm pretty guessing.
Well, it's
a joint effort, obviously.
Yeah.
But yes.
By the way, I do have to say a big thank you, because I think we mentioned it yesterday, and then almost immediately was announced the splash pads are back open.
Yes, yeah. As soon as you said something, we got a notice that they got them fixed up.
So
we're
big
good to go.
thanks to the city of Roswell for opening those back up. But for the last several years, we've done our party kind of at the Burt Murphy family splash pad, because it's a good spot.
Hey,
And
Bert.
Bert. And the kids had a good time with it, and that's probably what's going to happen again this year. We've talked about the pool and a couple other ideas, but the big thing is she specifically asked for a couple things that we were able to procure. So yeah,
nice.
That's
imagine, like, because I know you have friends that make baked goods and things. Her cake game's probably strong for birthdays, huh?
It is. Rhiannon's not crazy about cake.
Of course not. She likes nothing that normal people like.
I know. You know what she likes? She loves frosting.
Oh, well, who doesn't?
Yeah.
Does she like cupcakes?
No, that's the thing, is we do cupcakes, and she'll have like maybe the top of one.
Well, cupcakes are still cakes.
And frosting.
They're
but-
just cupcakes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but in a kid's view, they're different. And
Yeah, but when
kids-
there's like 50 of them, it looks
in
way
a kid's
bigger.
view, that's, cupcakes and cake are different.
Yeah, no, we go cupcakes for the most part, but yeah, she's odd when it comes to that
Oh,
side of
I knew,
things.
just because she just has a. Again, the reason why you have to look for chicken strips on the menu because that's about the only thing she eats.
Yeah. So yeah, no, it's the planning is pretty much done at this point. I hope, and it's just kind of the execution now, and hoping that things remain relatively normal between now and then.
Right. Well, hopefully
in this
weather
day and
doesn't.
age, exactly in this day
Hopefully
and
the
age,
weather doesn't mess up any. Although, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but there's a 40% chance of rain on Saturday now.
Yeah, we'll take those odds. That means there's a 60% chance of success.
But here's the good
Half
news.
glass full.
Here's the part you're gonna like. The high on Saturday is 91.
Oh, I do like that.
Yeah,
I like that a lot, actually.
Yeah. So maybe that 60% chance part in the 90s is the perfect time to be at the Burt Murphy splash pad. Man. All I can think of is whenever we talk about this stuff is two things. One is Kim's parents' dog Daisy that used to tell the weather. Like
She was allowed.
she was so scared of thunderstorms. She would literally walk on the deck, look up, and if it looked cloudy, she'd haul back into the house. That and the dude from the Great Outdoors that got struck from lightning 66 times. And there's a part where he's looking up and he's like, you see him scatter. It's like, oh, there's trouble. And that guy's scattered. That's what every time we talk about Rhiannon's storm thing, that's all I can think of is that dog and the 66 lightning guy in Great Outdoors.
Oh, poor Daisy. One time I scared her. I decided to go ahead and play Garth Brooks' Thunder Rolls.
Oh, the
I
dog.
turned it up where the thunder. Oh, she started shaking. And I was like, okay, yeah, she, bless her heart. She feels safe in a vehicle, though. My grandmother would come in her truck when it would start raining and storming, just for her. And she would get her and put her in the truck, and they go riding around. She was okay in the truck.
Is the drug for it? It's called like Zofran or something like that for dogs. That's like the anti-anxiety.
Yeah, they had one that we gave her the pill.
We've
It's still
done
get
that
nervous.
before.
Yeah.
I heard it described. This was my favorite description. It's like a thunder shirt on the inside.
Well, I'll remember they went out of town or something, and
We
Kim
kept
and I
her.
we watched the dog for a week or so, and yeah, sure enough, we had a thunderstorm, and this is back when we lived on Cedar, and I'll remember
Bless her heart.
I got in the car with me and Daisy sat in my car in the carport during a thunderstorm because that's where she was
She
cool.
was panicking. She was drooling
Yeah.
and pacing.
I
And,
put her. We went in there. I sat in there with her, but yeah, she was way calmer once we got into the car.
Yeah.
It was very weird.
her magic place.
They tend to be pretty zoned in when it comes to things like storms and stuff.
Yeah.
Animals, animals in general.
But she could smell.
Yeah, they
I
can
mean,
smell the weather
She
better
lived
than
in
we
Redosa. She could smell the rain and the weather.
She knew. Pepper's
Yeah,
Farm.
she knew.
Pepper's Farm.
She was our weather dog.
She went on to be a meteorologist, turns out.
That's right. Well, the funny part, ironically, or no, I don't know, it's not even funny. Ronnie, my father-in-law, got her to be a bird dog for hunting. And she nailed all the retrieving and all that part. But as soon as you brought the boom into the thing,
when they shot,
the guns freaked her out. She took off, so she never turned out. Great dog, just not a bird dog.
Not a bird dog.
And they just don't make earplugs for dogs.
No,
not successful ones at least.
He's not like.
I'm just picturing your dog out there with noise canceling headphones on.
I think it would be funny if you make them, but they look like long dog ears.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, even if your dog does, like, if you got German Shepherd ears, doesn't matter. They put these on. They got long dog ears.
Yeah. One thing I will say, that would be good. One thing I will say is when you're suggesting products for dogs around a person who has a dog, you have to be really careful because sometimes that will lead to some weird things arriving in the mail. We got into a whole conversation about my friend has this dog they found in the middle of the street, but the dog Max has these shock white eyes, like they are white. And I imagine with New Mexico's sun and with reflectiveness and things, it can cause some irritation in the eyes and probably blindness at an early age. So I'm like, I wonder if they make sunglasses for dogs. The next 45 minutes of my life were spent on 17 different websites. Like, ooh, look at these. Look at these. What do you think of these? Yeah. And like 3 pairs of dog shades later, they decided it's not for them or not for her.
Like, I don't even have a dog, but I want the dog shades. Now I bought the dog shades. Now I just went and got a dog just to get the dog shades. So
that's almost the same problem I had with PlayStation games. Like, wow, I was given this PlayStation 3 game, but the PlayStation 4 is not backwards compatible, so now I got to go find me a PS3 just so I can play this game.
Just for one game.
Yep.
First
world problems.
Let me give you a rundown for this hour of the show. We'll get you update with the weather here in just a few. Like I said, we're going to replay an interview we had early in the week with John Thosen for the New Mexico Shooting Sports Association. Talk a little bit about that. But they do have stand-up comedy night next week at the Libertad.
Nice.
And we're going to invite folks out to that. So we'll play that interview for you here in just a bit. And then, of course, we'll have the news of the local variety and your Wall Street business update and whatever else we can come up with for this hour of the show.
There you go.
And like I said, as we get updates on the Ruidoso stuff, I know Jocelyn on the Food Not Bombs page, she shared a link to a Ruidoso group that you can make donations to directly there. And then from what I understand, every bit of that goes directly to people in need at the moment. So, there's a link there. Food Not Bombs Roswell on Facebook. You'll find that link there.
Yes.
8:16. Let's get you up to date on the weather.
Weather this hour brought to you by Southwest Bearing under new ownership. Custom solutions for your heavy equipment. Hydraulic hoses, hose repair, bearings, seals, sprockets, belts, tools, fluids, and fittings.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Sunny and pretty hot today, mid to upper 90s. We do have a slim chance of an afternoon thunderstorm around Roswell, but it should be dry everywhere else. For the overnight hours, maybe a few clouds, our lows in the low 70s. The heat gets cranked up a little bit on Thursday. Sunshine and afternoon highs will be in the low 100s. Maybe a shower on Thursday night, sunny and around 100 on Friday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 75 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 69%. Winds currently out of the south at 14 miles per hour. Sunny skies and a high of 97 expected for us today with southeast winds 5 to 10. Clear skies tonight, overnight low of 71 with south winds at around 10 miles per hour. Thursday, sunny. Expect highs right at the century mark, 100 tomorrow with south winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. But tomorrow night, they're tacking on a 20% chance of showers. Partly cloudy, overnight low of 72. South winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. Sunny and a high of 98 for your Friday with east winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Friday night, we're looking at a 20% chance of showers and thunderstorms with a high of 70. Saturday, now saying a 40% chance of showers and thunderstorms for the afternoon with a high of 91. Sunday, we're looking at a 30% chance of showers and thunderstorms and mostly sunny, high of 89. Yeah, 89. Love that. And then a 20% chance of rain Monday. Highs near 90, 92, and 20% chance of rain on Tuesday as well. So we'll see how that all shapes up. But got a little hot before we get to that. 9:19, we're going to take a 3.5-minute break. Then we're going to play our interview with John Thosen, talking about their event and the New Mexico Shooting Sports Association. Don't go away.
In a medical emergency, every second counts. Artesia General Hospital's emergency department is open 24/7, staffed with highly trained professionals ready to provide life-saving care when you need it most. Don't wait. When minutes matter, trust Artesia General Hospital. Quality emergency care close to home. Learn more at artesiageneral.com.
Do you want to improve the appearance of your smile or increase your self-esteem and confidence? Many people have already chosen to update their smile with veneers. Here at Carabelli Dental in Roswell, we work with our patients to understand their smile goals. With veneer treatment, we can eliminate gaps between teeth, solve the problems of stained teeth, and even perfect uneven or misshaped teeth. You owe it to yourself to have the smile you know is possible. Call us now.
Come see the team at Carabelli Dental or call 575-622-4455.
Hi, I'm Chef Anthony Noble at the Valley Cafe located at 801 West Brasher in Roswell. We want to welcome you for dinner 5 to 8 p.m. weekdays, except Wednesday we close at 2 p.m. If you haven't tried our food yet, I hope you come try one of our dinner entrees, pasta, soups, salads, burgers, and sandwiches, and our weekly specials as well. Let me make you great dinner. Visit the Valley Cafe at 801 West Brasher, the Orange Building across from Church on the Move in Roswell.
Can't see us in person? Find our full menu on DoorDash, Grubhub, and Uber Eats.
The Missoula Children's Theater will be hosting a week-long workshop for children ages 6 to 17 at the Spencer Theater. Auditions will be held on Monday, July 21st. This workshop is free of charge for participants thanks to the generosity of Ruidoso Ford Lincoln. For more information about the workshop or to purchase tickets to the performance on July 25th, visit spencertheater.com or call the box office at 575-336-4800. We'll see you at the Spencer.
Looking to start, continue, or complete your higher education journey? Join the more than 5,700 current Greyhounds on their journey to student success. Eastern New Mexico University offers the most affordable higher education degree in the Southwest, and New Mexico residents can go to school tuition-free with the New Mexico Opportunity Scholarship. With online or in-person degrees, ENMU is the right choice for you. For more information, visit enmu.edu. ENMU, student success, that's what we're about.
At Richland Motors, it's never been easier to sell or trade your current car, truck, or SUV for a newer model to hit the road in. Even if you don't purchase from Richland, they want to buy your vehicle for top dollar. But if you do buy from Richland, don't forget, they're the home of the powertrain warranty for life. That's a whole lot of confidence for you. See Richland for details. 2nd and Sycamore and 1309 Southeast Main.
The ultimate Wi-Fi experience is now available to you thanks to Smart Home Wi-Fi with Plateau. Get fiber-to-home technology 100 times faster than average household internet speed. Plateau has multiple plans and options to fit your family. With Fast, get true 100 megs per second download and upload speed. With Faster, get true 500 megs of download and upload speeds. And with Fastest, you get 1 gig. Learn more at plateautel.com. Get the speed you need with Plateau. Tried, true, trusted.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. You burn more calories sleeping than you do watching television. For the ultimate workout, fall asleep in front of the TV. Here's Mike Winters.
In studio this morning from the New Mexico Shooting Sports Association, John Thosen back with us. Morning, John.
Hey, how are you today, Mike?
Doing great. How about yourself?
I'm doing great.
Good deal. Well, let's before we kind of get into everything, let's kind of give people a little background. Tell them what the New Mexico Shooting Sports Association, what they're all about. I mean, I think you can kind of figure out in the title that this is all about firearms and firearm safety and firearm availability for folks and things like that.
Yeah, we've been around. We're an NRA state affiliate. We've been around since 1935, and one of our big functions is fighting the legislature. We've been largely responsible for defeating all the anti-gun bills, or almost all of them, in the last 7 legislative sessions. And it's funny, we got to do the same thing all over again. You know, we fight the semi-automatic weapon, we fight the magazine, and win in most cases, and then we got to turn right around and do it all again.
Yeah, that's kind of always been it's always the new thing, and especially if some new equipment or something, and they're like, all right, we gotta nitpick on that one too.
Figure out how to ban something
and
else.
It's kind of like, Second Amendment. It is what it is. Now I get it. Not everyone should be having a tank or anything like that in their house, but when it comes to you're allowed to own a firearm. That's a constitutional right that you have, and
absolute Second Amendment.
And if you don't defend these rights, then someone will take them away from you. History has proven that to us time and time again.
And we all know what happens when they take them away from us. But we're involved in a lot of things. We've got the New Mexico Shooting Sports Association, and a couple of years ago we started the New Mexico Shooting Sports Foundation.
Gotcha.
And what it does primarily is that we're trying to raise money for youth shooting.
Gotcha.
This year, for example, we donated $10,000 to kids all over the state that we're going to shoot in 4-H events and other shooting competitions across the country. So,
and this is really what I think is the disconnect when we talk about firearms. And yes, it's constitutionally, but here's the thing: like any other right, there's a responsibility with it, and that's what I love about this is the part that all right, we're teaching youth proper firearm safety, proper firearm usage, proper handling of these things, and guess what? When you educate people on how to use them, guess what you don't find?
Exactly.
Accidents and things like the things we hear about.
And the statistics prove that. If you look at most of the anti-gun stuff, they come up with these statistics, and they're usually manipulated to prove their point. A real good example is, they always say that guns kill more kids than anything else. Well, that's absolutely untrue. What they do to try to get that statistic is they don't count kids from 0 to 1, and then they extend the kids from 18 to 21. So you get all your gang violence and all that kind of stuff, and then they're able to twist our statistics.
This is the sad part of statistics: is anybody can manipulate and to create their own narrative with them very easily. If you're not one that and this is again back to the point, in whether it's firearms or any other legal issue, do your research, do your homework, because every place you read one thing about one, it's probably been manipulated. You got to find it from multiple sources, multiple things. And this is the responsibility of being an American nowadays is, know the difference between someone's trying to sell you a lemon versus real work being done here. And unfortunately, a lot of information gets misconstrued and misturned to reach a narrative that's not really true. Exactly. And a lot of people get false beliefs, false narratives about how things are.
Harder every year, too. Yeah. I mean, you try to research something, and you got one expert says this, one expert says that. Yeah. You really got to do your work to get down to the bottom of what's really true and accurate.
And whether a gun can shoot 10 rounds a second or one, or that's not the point here. The point here is who's the person behind the gun and why, and some of these people should not have guns and some should. Exactly. And this is that responsibility thing, and that's it. It's a mental health problem.
And we've got
it's not a gun problem.
Laws to to protect all that, but it's training, like you say.
Yes,
learn at a young age, and then the term gun violence. There's really no such thing. Have you ever seen a gun get up and do anything on its own? It's people that are operating these things. They're the problem, and some of them are genuinely sick and need some help.
Absolutely,
but taking guns away from you and I because of things like that doesn't solve anything.
Sure, it's no different than any other things in your house. You have a gas or an electric stove in your house. At some point, you let your kids handle those things, but guess what? You teach them on how to do all that first. A firearm is no different.
Exactly.
And that's all we're talking about here. It's a tool like anything else. And, we can get in debates all day about this, but it doesn't matter. If you teach kids and adults proper use of a gun, whether it's a handgun or a bazooka, it doesn't really matter as long as, you're teaching the safe part. And this is what do and not to do with it. And that's what it's about. I mean, in teaching, I don't know, when I was a kid, we went and watched movies, and let's face it, we watched Rambo and, all these. But at the end of the day, our parents said, this is fantasy. This is not real. And I feel like that disconnect's almost like gone. And at some point, people are like thinking, wait a minute, that's a movie. That guy doesn't exist, but you're basing your whole life on that. And I'm like, this is, and what I'm saying? That's kind of where we're going with this stuff. And that's why I'm like, no, and reality is, we can deal with the crazy, but when it's a movie and all this, but you teach. You understand. You realize this is fantasy.
We all watched John Wayne movies, and we played cowboys and Indians.
Exactly.
And nobody ever got hurt, or we were taught right.
And that's part of it. It's that education side, and that sounds like what you fight in the legislature, making sure this stuff happens. But at the same token, you're also conducting training, showing families how to safely handle firearms and how to responsibly be a gun owner.
Yeah, and we're trying to, it's really funny. As many gun owners are in this state, we have to fight like heck to get. This is a organization. Your dues is $25, and if you're a certain age, it's only $15. You can't buy a box of ammo for that.
No,
but yet we can't get half of the gun owners in the state to be involved.
Sure.
Same with at the national level. They're just. It seems like a lot of gun owners are really into apathy and complacency, and they don't want to get involved. They don't want to help us with money. So we're fighting. Not only are we fighting the legislature, we're fighting for help. It's amazing that we can't get people to help us more than they do.
You always hear, I don't want to get into quoting things and all that, but there's so many times when you look at history and you look at, I know this is a very popular subject right now, but look at the rise of the Nazi Empire here during World War II. The reason why things like this happen is, because people hit the right notes with people, and a huge lack of complacency by people that know different.
Yep.
And that's exactly how Hitler rose to power.
Yeah. And we can't seem to learn from that.
Yeah.
We're still, some of the same things that are happening in our country now.
Absolutely.
It's scary.
You know how many countries Hitler rolled through and people just said, oh, he's fine.
Yeah.
He literally took over half of Europe before somebody said, maybe we ought to do something about this.
We finally did, but it took us a while, I'll tell you.
But that's the biggest lesson we can learn, and that translates into everything. And it's no different here. Is if you're just thinking let other people fight the fight, then you're going to lose the fight. And that's, and sure, okay, maybe you don't have to be sitting in the legislative, yelling and screaming, but supporting organizations like this, either financially or
support us. We do the yelling.
Yeah, exactly. Let you guys be that voice in the legislature, whether it's Congress or our own New Mexico.
We're there every single session in front of every single bill. I average about 100 hours a year just writing testimony, giving testimony during the legislative session for, like I say, last 7 years, and over and over and over, do the same thing every year.
Absolutely. Well, and we all know that we are a very one-party state here in New Mexico, and it's been that way since long before we were a state.
Exactly.
When we were in New Mexico. I mean, literally. The Santa Fe, the cattle ring, we were really run by the mafia before we became statehood, and it ain't got much better since.
Well, we got to keep trying, but yeah, it's.
And so you want change, you've got to make a difference. You got to stand up and get involved. You got to, we're getting political, but it's at the end of the day, it's not really political. I don't care. You could be the proest of Republicans or the proest of Democrats. Really good government happens when you have a balance of two in the room talking and doing that. And New Mexico's never had that.
Right, exactly. And look what's going on with Texas right now.
Exactly.
They can come together and something like that, but we can't come together to support the American flag and our Constitution and our Declaration, and it's just unbelievable.
And so this is why, if you want things better, this is what you need to stand up and do. So, if you're a strong Second Amendment supporter, you want to ensure that your kids have the same rights than you do, maybe getting involved in organizations like this might be, at least financially, or at least educate yourself, and go, know what's really going on, look at, I know I'm getting on a rant here, but look at the whole thing, which we're still dealing with, on environmental stuff, listing of animals and everything else. This is the same, different battle, but same tactics. And as soon as, it's one thing, then it's going to be the next thing. And they're going to keep doing it and gumming up the works till eventually they get people so tired and they say, fine, let's just ban the guns. And that's what they're hoping and so they're going to keep going. It's no different with the animals. Oh, you're going to, okay, so we lost against the sand dune lizard. All right, let's bring out the prairie chicken, or let's bring out the minnow fish, or whatever it is next. And it's going to be the same thing here with this. Okay, you got this thing fought. Now they're going to, go after this next thing. Right? And it's a never-ending battle.
That's exactly what's happening. they've got rich donors like Bloomberg and Soros and everything else, and they nickel and dime us to death, so to speak. We fight 10 battles for 10 different types of legislation. Well, we win most of them, but then they get the little bitty one. Like last year, they got in the 7-day waiting period, and so we beat everything else. We beat several serious bills.
Here's the crux, and at least in my opinion, on the whole gun issues and how we look. I get it. We have a lot of laws already in place that don't allow someone to just walk up and buy a gun. And problem is enforcement and execution of this thing. We can make all the laws we want, but they have no way of really executing some of these said laws. So they just keep making more laws and not executing any of them. I mean, yes, we have some background checks and things like that, but I'm telling you right now, the level that when they keep bringing it, it's functionally impossible to do that feasibly and find it's like court systems. You can make all the laws you want, but if you can't prosecute nobody, you can't do nothing or sit in jail, then what's the point?
Well,
we're kind of in that boat with gun stuff.
Some of them don't want to. The Obama administration, for example, he used to tout 43,000 people he caught filling out 4473 illegally, the form you fill out to buy a gun. Guess how many of those 43,000 were prosecuted?
0.
6.
6. There you go. Same thing. And that's what I'm saying. I mean,
if you and I did it.
Yeah. Oh, then but that's my point is let's, if we want to truly talk about some of this stuff, let's be real about it and come from a common sense thing. And to be honest, I think if we actually funded and supported, some of what's already in place, then it goes away. The background checks. The way people think, you think you could literally walk into any gun store today and walk out with a whole battalion of weapons, and I'm like, no, you can't do that, even if you wanted to.
They still want to convince people a Glock is a machine gun.
It's still there's like you can't just go up and buy. I get it. They have laws saying you can't just because you're mad at somebody go buy a gun and blow them away. We've had laws almost my whole life preventing you from doing that. That's not new stuff we're talking about.
All they got to do is enforce them and educate our kids, and we haven't got the problem we've got.
Creating new laws.
You didn't see these school shootings when we were kids.
No.
I mean, I used to go to high school with a rifle in the back of my pickup.
Yeah.
Because we might want to go hunting or something afterwards.
This is a bigger issue. This is mental health. This is about family. This is nothing to do with. That's like saying we have a hammer problem. That's not the problem. The problem is we got people that seriously need help here, and that's where we need to Susan G. Komen like we do with breast cancer. We need to do that with mental health and put the funding there. And I guarantee the gun issue goes away, your crime issue goes away, a lot of other issues start going away too.
I tell you, they say hands and feet. The honest statistics, hands and feet kill more kids and people than guns do.
Look at England. Guns have been illegal over there. Their murder rates just as it's knives or billy clubs or whatever.
Yeah. Somebody wants to do violence, they don't have to do it with a gun.
Yeah, that's kind of the point here. But again, I know we're getting really soapboxy here, but this is kind of why this organization exists and going above and beyond to keep it.
These are in every gun store in Roswell and Clovis. That's my district, and Ruidoso. But you can come and pick these up and join us and help us fight this thing. And then, like I say, we're doing a fundraiser.
I'm going to say we got a little shindig for folks to come on out and have a good time at the Liberty coming up.
Hanging around town a little bit. I'm trying to advertise as much as I can, but we're fortunate enough on July 18th to have Jay McKittrick's coming down. He's a comedian that's been all over the state.
Yeah.
Pretty good guy. And
come out for a night of laughs.
Yeah, he's donating his time for this cause.
Oh, good.
That's how important
it is. So this is kind of one of his champion projects, too. Very good.
Freedom in general and constitutional rights.
Okay.
So we're going to have a big show the 18th. We're going to raffle off some guns during that show.
Nice.
Liberty holds 250 people. If I can fill that place, we might be able to afford to pay a lawyer for 4 hours or so.
That'd be nice. And of course, Liberty, they do a great job of eating and food and drink. You have a great night of fun, comedy, and if you can bid on some of these firearms and help out the organization. You can become a member. I'm sure if you want to learn more information about becoming a member, you can. John and there'll be some other folks there you can talk to about that. But if nothing else, come and support the cause and come out and have a few beverages, a meal, and enjoy some laughs out there.
The main fundraiser is for New Mexico Shooting Sports Association, but we also the two guns that are going to be raffled off there to help support the New Mexico Shooting Sports Foundation. And again, that money will go to help youth shooting and youth education.
Yeah.
And so we're excited. We're hoping to fill that place. A lot of us have done a lot of work advertising, and it's kind of the first time I've ever tried to do something like this, but Liberty's helped me a lot, and we're on our way, and hopefully we'll fill that place up.
Absolutely. So normally I know with any event at the Liberty, you can get tickets at thelibertyinc.com. Do you guys have a special link too to get tickets or just through the Liberty?
Yeah, there's a QR code here.
Okay.
You can get it at liberty.com, go to events, and go to July 18th.
Yeah.
I have tickets I'll sell if anybody needs it that way. My phone number is 575-626-3974. Call me anytime. There's several ways to get tickets.
Good deal. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you've never been to the Liberty, it's a great venue especially for comedy shows or concerts. Great intimate atmosphere, but the food's good. It's a great ambiance in there too.
And they've been helpful to us too. They're giving us some slack on some stuff too, because
good. Glad to hear that.
Josh is interested in this type of event too. And
good deal. We'll support them by buying dinner and having a beverage or two.
Exactly.
And coming out there but come out and support. And have fun. That's the big thing too. Is if we can do it while laughing, that's even better. So
sometimes you gotta laugh.
That's exactly. And really, this is like if promoting shooting sports and getting your youth involved, this is a great way to do it. It's I know you wear many hats over the years here with teaching youth firearms and shooting sports, and talked about some of that stuff. And that's the fun part of it is when you get these kids and you have those moments and next thing you know that they're the ones that taking their kids for their first, whether it's hunting or going out to the range or whatever that is, it's that milestone in life moment. Really,
it's something I'll never forget. Like I say, I was a Chaves County 4-H shotgun and pistol coach, and that was some of the most exciting times of my life working with these kids. I hated to give it up, but I had to. I had health reasons, but we took a team to the national championships for pistol, and those kids, watching all those kids. We had, at that one event, there was something like 14 or 15,000 kids, all handling guns safely, competitively.
Not one incident anywhere.
Not one.
Yeah.
Every year we have a big shoot up here at Whittington. We have 750 kids or more every year for the 4-H thing. Never a problem.
Nope.
Because they're taught properly. They're
treated with respect.
Yeah, and shooting, it gives you eye and hand coordination. It does teach you respect, responsibility. I mean,
so much discipline is learned by learning especially when you're talking rifle, shotgun, or pistol, where you're talking about breath control and sight picture. These are all discipline skill sets and that translates into other aspects of their lives too.
Like shooting sports, with these kids, it helps with their future life. Teaches them the camaraderie and dealing with people and the competitive aspects of being sportsmanship. It's great opportunities, and that's part of what we're trying to help provide.
Yeah, and I'll tell you right now, when you hang out at events like this and you see it's a different world, because they know the rules. Because rule number one, in any time we're dealing with firearms and anything else, is no matter the gun, you treat it like a loaded gun.
Exactly.
And everyone abides by that rule. And then you notice guns are never pointed at people. They're kept, the trigger control. There ain't no one touching a trigger unless they're ready to fire that bad boy. These are this stuff is ingrained into the people after a while.
Unless you watch TV.
Yeah, until you watch TV, then all that goes out the window.
That's one of my wife and I's favorite sport is to watch some of these shows like FBI and count all the things. Man, I've never seen a revolver shoot 19 shots before.
Yeah. Like, man, you've literally shot 57 times and not reloaded once. Or the gangster sideways and they flip around, and you know how hard it is to be accurate with a handgun while they're running around like that? It is just...
And you can't shoot a handgun.
Regardless of
what they want you to think.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, it looks cool on the screen, I guess, but you ain't hitting a barn with an elephant on that doing this.
No, that's one of the things about shooting. It is, like you say, it takes a lot of control, lot of effort, a lot of mental discipline.
Yeah.
But it's such a great sport.
Yeah.
I've loved it all my life. I started into it. Actually, my dad started me in archery first, and I had a longbow. I had to stand on a 5-gallon bucket so my bow wouldn't hit the ground when I shot it.
And to me, that's a great way to do it, because archery, it teaches those beginning stages, the discipline, the breath control, all those things that are required. And it actually, because you're holding, depending on the draw weight of that bow, you're doing it while exercising strength there.
That's true.
At least with a rifle, depending on how you're holding it. But if you're sitting on a on a sandbag on a chair, and then that, you're just pulling the trigger. But and again, all this is different. Shooting a rifle from a seated position is way easier than you're in a standing position holding all the weight of the gun on your own. That sight picture is a lot different. And, that's the stuff you learn. And it's like, okay, how do I stable myself so my sight picture goes? What's different ways to do that in the field? Which different ways to, and that's the beauty of all this stuff. You learn it, and what, and the different calibers, and what, why you should use a different, especially for hunting and stuff, why is shotgun's better than a rifle here, and what you're doing. I'm pretty sure you're not hunting birds with a rifle. That's just unless you're some cowboy that was in Unforgiven that can shoot an eagle flying around, which nobody can, but with a handgun, by the way.
Well, Glenn Campbell shot a turkey with a 45-70 on True Grits.
Yeah, I mean, but for every one time they did that, how many times they missed? That's all I'm saying.
I guarantee you that was definitely staged.
But I like that scene in, I don't know, Unforgiven, another more modern classic Western here. But there's a scene where, because one of the characters is blind as a bat, and so he's talking about birds, but they're shooting a bird. I was like, come on, man, ain't nobody. I get it. We're talking about Annie Oakley types and all this, but none of us are hitting a eagle flying at full speed with a pistol.
Clint Eastwood movies are good though.
Yeah,
Westerns,
but entertaining. Yeah,
they are.
But that's where you learn this stuff, and it's a tool just like anything else, and you use the right tool for the job. And why a shotgun's important, versus if you want to eat, maybe this. But this is what you learning that stuff, and that's the lifetime of it.
Our country was founded on firearms.
Well, I mean,
we didn't beat the British with forks and spoons.
Absolutely, and that's why we have these constitutional, why these are in our Constitution. If you look at those first 10 amendments, a lot of that's dealing with, the quartering and all that. It's like, because they could literally put soldiers up in your house, and you couldn't say a dang thing about it.
And guess what? You lose a Second Amendment, you've lost them all. Trust me.
And that's kind of what, freedom of speech, is, you can say as long as there's, these are all, I'm one of the ones that all 10 are equally important, but yes, some get more spotlight than others.
Exactly.
1 and 2, but
they're all important. That's
absolutely.
Sure.
And that's really at the end of the day is we're protecting constitutional rights, obviously with the Shooting Sports Association focusing on the second. But that's, if you want to get and support your Constitution and say these things, and really, you want to ensure your kids and your grandkids and your kids' kids have the same rights and freedoms you do, this is how you support those types of things.
For sure.
Get involved legislatively. If you want to be more active, I'm sure John has a bunch of places for you on there.
Oh, definitely.
He could always use more people sitting in the roundhouse in January, just like everybody else here. But
that's our toughest duty right there, I'll tell you.
I would imagine, because it's a losing fight for New Mexico.
You sit there and you testify, and they're up there like this, and don't say a word till it's time to vote. Then they wake up and vote no.
Yeah.
Or yes, depending on the situation.
And that's why you get, and I know, and I'm pretty sure, based on legislatures here in this part of the state, you probably have pretty good relationships with most of them, because they're in agreement. It's the rest of the state that they're, maybe up in the Four Corners area and down here, but after that, it's everybody's, liberal, Democrat.
We've had real good luck here. All of our legislators are all friends of mine. They support us and everything else. One of the biggest supporters, I'll tell you, I'm sure Miss Greg Nyber, he really did a lot of behind the scenes things up there.
But that's the problem, is we need more of them. This is, and again, getting back to what I was talking about at the beginning, balance is where it is, and we don't have balance. There's, 3-1 Democrat to Republican, and I'm just spitballing, but it's something like that.
Nobody wants to run, and you can't blame them. I mean, your life is destroyed as soon as you announce candidacy.
Yeah, it's rough, and so the best way is support stuff like this. Come out here on the 18th and have a chuckle or two, and then bid on some of these guns and support financially here, so we can keep the information going, keeping these. And by the way, you're also supporting the training side of it. You're ensuring that youth will have access to a place to learn firearm safety and properly, and you're also supporting that by doing this too.
Support us so we can support you.
Yeah,
that's what we're trying to do.
If folks want to do some reading, websites, Facebooks, or any place they can learn more about the New Mexico Shooting Sports Association?
They can go. Like I say, we've got these in every gun store, and it's got the website on it. We've got on our website, we have some. It's New Mexico Shooting Sports Association.org. We've got some training like we've got some pistol training right there on the website.
Okay.
We've got some history and
So you can maybe if you want to talk with your kids a little bit about it, you can get a starting point right there at the website and give them a little visual to see and some of that stuff.
You know, we'll help in any way we can. We like to be involved, and we want to help protect this
Absolutely. And this is the best way to distill all the other stuff. Like when you're showing your kids how to do this stuff, and of course their exposure's like a lot of people. It's like I watched, whatever Marvel movie or whatever, you know what I mean? And they think it's like, all right, first off, that's all fantasy. Let's get, but then you can sit down. All right, now we got to find the right gun for you at this time. And what's the, what are we doing here? All right, we're just learning the ways of firearms and shooting. You don't need something huge. Let's start you with a 22 rifle. Let's start you with a 22 pistol or something of a smaller caliber that can learn you how the proper etiquette for safety firearms. And then once you get better handling, then we hand you the bigger calibers and the ones that have our intended purposes for their shooting.
I was an NRA instructor for many years, and that's how I'd start them. If you were a beginner or even a moderate, I'd take you to the range, and we'd sit down on a bench with a bag and a 22 single shot pistol, and that's how we started.
22 Marlins are one of the best guns in the world, man.
Man. I wish I had a whole bunch of 39A Marlins right now. Boy, they are worth.
They're workhorses. They're good. They're accurate.
Yeah.
They're just job doing guns, and they don't have the bang and the boom that everyone loves. But I'll put you. A 22 will do whatever you need it to do. If, you know what you're doing.
That's another fortunate thing in the age we live in right now. Our guns, you can buy a Ruger Gen 2 rifle, and out of the box, it'll shoot like it would cost you $6,000 20 years ago to have custom job on it. It's amazing. You get a rifle now, if it's not a minute accuracy out of the box at 100 yards, that's very unusual.
Yeah.
You couldn't think about that 15 years ago.
Oh yeah, blacksmithing has gotten much like any other forms of technology, including the world of not blacksmithing but gunsmithing. Yep. Although I'm sure there's been modern technologies in blacksmithing too, yep. But in gunsmithing, absolutely here.
Yeah, case hardening a pistol, for example.
Absolutely, yeah. So again, we're about out of time here, but July 18th at the Liberty. Come on out.
At the Liberty, look at these. They're all over town. Give me a call.
Night of Comedy with Jay McKittrick. We'll also have a firearm auction. Several firearms will be available for that for purchase or for bid. Here is that all of the proceeds go to the New Mexico Shooting Sports Association here, so we can continue its programs for youth and keep the good fight going in the legislative sessions here as again, protecting and preserving the Second Amendment and doing the best we can so the state of New Mexico doesn't infringe upon it.
Right. And I don't know if I mentioned the two guns, or we're going to have a 1911 pistol and a 22 semi-automatic rifle.
And that's the best workhorse, and this is probably a little prettier than the one you probably learned on. But, but again, a staple workhorse firearm. Nothing wrong with that. TheLibertyInc.com. You can get tickets there. Also, don't forget, you can look for the New Mexico Shooting Sports Association on Facebook and online and all that. Like you said, any gun store in town, you'll find the brochure there. You can do a little reading on that. And, of course, join us on July 18th with any questions you have. John or any of the staff there will be happy to fill you in on more information. And if you're interested in becoming a member or want to get more involved, lots of opportunities to do so.
Like they say, be there or be square.
There you go. And come bring you funny bone and maybe an empty stomach for some delicious food.
Sounds fun.
John, did we get it all?
I think so. I appreciate it. As always, it's always nice to visit with you. And
anything we can do to help, and appreciate the hard work you and the organization's doing. And folks, complacency will be the death of you if you don't roll up your sleeves and get involved in the things that you're passionate about.
Yeah, we're seeing that now. You're right.
And this is what you got to do, and this is how you do it. You do it peacefully. You do it by the law. You do it with, strength in numbers, protests, signings. Do these things. Show your support. Giving our legislators tools. Sending them the email. Sharing your stories, because when they have to fight the fights here in Santa Fe, their constituents are their ammo. What they get from their constituents gives them the tools to fight for your rights, and your organization helps do that, but giving your legislators that same ammo helps them make that fight. So get involved. So, thank you, sir.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
We'll see you here a little bit down the road here.
I'm Jared Cirillo with your Pecos Valley News Update. Massive floodwaters are again threatening parts of southern New Mexico. The monsoonal rains fell Tuesday in Ruidoso, leaving some people trapped in their homes and vehicles. New Mexico Department of Homeland Security spokesperson Danielle Silva said no injuries or deaths were reported as of late Tuesday, but that has changed overnight. We'll get to that just in a second. The extent of the destruction is not expected to be known until the water recedes. Emergency management officials in the region said the level of the Rio Ruidoso rose nearly 19 feet in a matter of minutes amid the heavy rainfall. A Weather Service flood gauge and companion video camera showed churning waters of the Rio Ruidoso surge over the river's banks and into the surrounding forest. Streets and bridges were closed in response. And as I mentioned, we have learned overnight that 3 people were found dead near Ruidoso. The victims reportedly swept downstream by the unprecedented floodwaters. The names of the victims have not been released, but emergency management says they are a male in his 40s, a 4-year-old girl, and a 7-year-old boy. You're up to date. I'm Jared Cirillo.
Your morning cup of Sean. This is the Sean Hannity Morning Minute.
You know, the idea that we shouldn't have billionaires, he said, I don't think that we should have billionaires.
All right, you are a self-described democratic socialist. Do you think that billionaires have a right to exist?
I don't think that we should have billionaires because, frankly, it is so much money in a moment of such inequality. And ultimately, what we need more of is equality across our city and across our state and across our country.
Equality. This is why I call them Marxist Mamdani, because to each according to his need, from each according to his ability. That's right out of Karl Marx's mouth. And that's exactly what he's talking about with equality here.
The conservative underground meets later today on the Sean Hannity Show.
Hey, Sean Hannity here, and these are certainly uncertain times with everything happening overseas. We've got to be on high alert here at home. Everyone needs to go to byrna.com. Why? I want you to see this non-lethal technology that can save lives, and you will see their compact launcher, the world's smallest, less lethal pistol launcher. Again, you can incapacitate any perpetrator, regardless of size, 30 to 40 minutes. The great thing about Burner is it has kinetic rounds designed to incapacitate these people. The compact launcher is perfect for women if you want protection and you don't want to carry a firearm, and you can put it in your purse and nobody will know you have it. Burner, no background check, can be shipped directly to your door. BYRNA is trusted by all of the professionals because the technology is so superior and a great alternative to lethal force. Visit Burner.com, BYRNA.com. Try before you buy at your local Sportsman's Warehouse.
Girls soccer season's coming up next month. Let's preview it by looking at Goddard and Roswell soccer. Goddard last year, excellent, 14-7-1 with mostly an underclassmen team, 5-1 in district. They beat Miyamura in the first round of the playoffs 2-0, but then lost to Los Alamos. Last year's leading scorer, Olivia Rosso, 30 goals. She's now a senior. And they've got some underclassmen who also got some goals last year. Aubrey Bolanos, Brianna Rivera, and Abigail Palma. They'll open against Roswell August 19th at 4 o'clock. Meanwhile, Roswell, 11-9 last year. A little surprising. They didn't make the playoffs, 4-2 record. They've got some underclassmen that scored some goals. Emily Macias, Alaya Morales, and Elena Macias. They did lose their big gun, though. Brianna Castro graduated. The Sports Report brought to you by DSI. Call DSI for all your office technology needs. I'm Eric Butler at Roswell's Talk FM 106.5.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Sunny and pretty hot today, mid to upper 90s. We do have a slim chance of an afternoon thunderstorm around Roswell, but it should be dry everywhere else. For the overnight hours, maybe a few clouds, our lows in the low 70s. The heat gets cranked up a little bit on Thursday. Sunshine and afternoon highs will be in the low 100s. Maybe a shower on Thursday night, sunny and around 100 on Friday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
With a Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bob Agnew.
The chip maker NVIDIA has surpassed $4 trillion in market valuation. It's the first company ever to do so. In the housing market, a report cites an increase in small investors amid a decline of prospective homebuyers.
Real estate investors snapped up 27% of U.S. homes sold in the first quarter of 2025, the largest share in 5 years. That's according to a new report from the realty data platform Batch Data. The company says the rise reflects a slowing home market, with traditional home buyers discouraged by elevated home prices and mortgage rates. As properties take longer to sell, investors with cash and financing advantages are stepping in. Roughly 20% of single-family homes in the U.S. are owned by investors, and 85% of those belong to mom-and-pop operations. I'm Jennifer King.
Stocks open higher on Wall Street as the administration seeks to win more deals with global trading partners. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bob Agnew.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. A group of 12 or more cows is called a flink. If you have only 11 cows, that's called a lot of cow pies. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. We're closing in on 10 o'clock. That's going to do it for us. Thank you very much for allowing us to be a part of your day. Have a great day. Keep redosing your thoughts and prayers and help out where you can. And we'll give you more information as we get it on that. Have an amazing day. We'll talk to you bright and early tomorrow. Take care, everybody.
Breaking news this hour at townhall.com. I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. Officials in Ukraine say Russia has fired more than 700 attack and decoy drones overnight that topped previous nightly barrages for the third time in 2 weeks as part of Moscow's intensifying aerial and ground assault in the 3-year war. The search continues for some 160 people still missing following weekend flash